Just gonna lay back and I'ma drop some smooth lyrics. So tune in 7 to 9:30 and don't be late. We about to set it straight. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Word. I'm ready, let's go. Ain't no half stepping, that's the name of the show. Yeah, Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah, Hunters talk sprinkle with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you wanna talk about, call it, we're hearing you. Cover all topics, touch on the main issues. With the flow in this show, bring the heat. The word on the street, Wizard Earl on the beat. We superb in the D, legacy online. 7 to 9:30, please be on time. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J, my brother. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, before force. And listen up, this Marcus Stage start to talk, running back. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, before force. And listen up, this Marcus Stage start to talk. Steppin', that's the name of the show. Yeah, Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah, Hunters talk sprinkle with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you wanna talk about, call it, we're hearing you. Cover all topics, touch on the main issues. With the flow in this show, bring the heat. The word on the street, Wizard Earl on the beat. We superb in the D, legacy online. 7 to 9:30, please be on time. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J, my brother. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, before force. And listen up, this Marcus Stage start to talk.
All right, y'all. Ain't no half step with Marcus J is live. We are in the new day, ready to have an outstanding show as we do at this time of the week. Every single week, we're excited to do the show. We got a lot that we need to talk about tonight. A notorious drug kingpin was finally dealt with over the weekend. We're going to have to talk about that briefly. We'll be talking about the one casino and resort here in Richmond, Virginia, where we are going to vote yes or no tomorrow. There's a lot to unpack there, and we'll be talking about that. And we're also going to be talking today about Republicans and Democrats and the black vote. There are a lot of black people who are looking to leave the Democratic Party because they don't feel that the Democratic Party has done anything to reach them. And there's a lot to unpack there. So we got a big show, a lot to get to tonight. So settle in, enjoy the flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio. We call this Ain't No Half Step with Marcus J. Y'all, that's me, and it's now.
Yeah. It's about that time. It's about that time to get. Yeah.
Button your lip, open your ears, strap on your thinking cap. Socially conscious talk that's entertaining with a dash of humor and the top sports stories of the week. It's time for Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J.
Sellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Manning lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. right center. That ball is out of here. The Yankees win the pennant.
You know how Steppin Marcus J is live. We are in the building. Be down with us tonight at 804-402-2893. Be a part of the flagship show, heard live from New Den of Legacy Internet Radio. Thank you to everybody who's been rocking with us tonight. We appreciate those folks who are checking us out right now on Facebook Live. Shout out to those folks that are checking us out on YouTube Live. Shout out to those folks that are watching us from any of our number of places to catch our archive. It's because y'all rock with us every single week. We will roll with y'all. So I already kind of led off the show with what we're going to talk about. So the teaser is done. You just got to sit tight and allow us to go through the salutations, which is what we are doing now. It's fun for me because I get to hang out with my brother. We hang out anyway, but then we come and we do this. What's up, John? How you doing, brother?
What's up, my brother?
How you doing, man?
All right, what's going on with you?
I can't call it, man. You know, it's just the same old thing, different day. You know, I can't call it.
The weekend?
The weekend was okay. You know, it wasn't great, wasn't terrible. The weekend was okay. I had some cool stuff happen and some not so cool stuff happen. But I will tell you the cool stuff. As y'all know, I'm on the spiritual journey, which is taking me through yoga, and it's taking me through nature and stuff. So on Saturday, got up early, did my meditation, went to yoga, and then I went to sound healing in Libby Hill Park with my man Juju and my sister Shayna. So it's great. Sound healing is everything because it makes shit go away for the amount of time that you in it. So that was dope. And then yesterday, Sunday, I spent the day. Well, actually, I got up and did yoga yesterday morning. And then I spent a good chunk of the day out at the river. And yesterday at the river was great because the weather was great. The river was flowing. Cannabis was flowing. And very little interaction with humans. And so that's always a great thing for me. So just good weekend. I can't complain when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I've been grumpy lately, and I'm trying to shake that off. I don't have a reason. I think it's just, you know, in the interest of just being transparent. You know, sometimes I just go through a period where it's some grumpiness and I can't shake it. I have done very well the last few months to fight it off, and hopefully I'm coming out of it. You guys always, you know, give me a good mood. I sent us a note early and I said, all I want to do is fist bump John and give Steph a hug. I've been able to do both of those already this evening. So I'm doing much better. So thank you, brother. I appreciate you asking.
You said in the opening we hang out.
Yeah.
So we hung out on Friday night.
Before we do that.
But I'm saying it.
Yeah, don't go too far.
It kind of jacked up my weekend.
Did it?
Because like, how do you get better?
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? You start your Friday night out and you figure Saturday you pocket, then we got Sunday all day football. Nah.
Yeah. Well,
I was let down.
Yeah.
I was let down after Friday night.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about
it was easy for it to happen.
We're gonna talk about what we did Friday.
I thought you spoke about it all night, how much we missed you.
I thought you was gonna lead it off. And
no. We get to that. We did miss Steph, and we spoke about it throughout the night.
Yes, we did. And so it's good to have you.
It was your thing. It was your kind of thing.
You know, we got our co-host with us, and she is my right hand who sits on my right side, and I appreciate you. But as our brother is saying, we absolutely missed you on Friday, and we know if it could have been helped, it would have been. So so you were missed.
Thank you.
And
Thank
we'll
you for
get into
caring and missing me.
Yeah, we'll get into what that was here in a few minutes after we talk about the execution in Harlem. Then we'll get into what John and I are kind of teasing, which is good, John. I'm glad because then we could tease. And what y'all gonna talk about? What y'all gonna talk about? We'll let you know in a minute. So, Steph, how was your weekend?
You know, I can't complain. Once I got out of Friday, it was a little bit better. You know, when you have a day when you say, I'm just gonna take this day off. This is gonna be my day to do nothing. I don't know how to do that, so I'm working on it. You know, it's supposed to be a non-work day. But yeah, I worked through it. And then by Saturday, I got a little me time. I love hanging out in Carytown. I got to do that on Saturday night, and go to a pho spot. That it was great because I'm outdoors. You're eating, hot pho, soup. Environment was nice. Had some Vietnamese coffee, so I was bouncing off the walls. But yeah, it was nice. My thing is I'm a fall weather person. So the minute the fall weather hits, I love evenings out. So it was nice. It really was. Other than that, I kept it simple. That's my aim these days. Keep things simple.
I want to know about that coffee. I mean, do they have like a different kind of coffee that gives you a whole different kind of buzz and vibe? Because I've heard that Southeast Asian coffee is a whole different vibe.
Yeah, definitely. It's Cuban coffee, that's a whole vibe. Vietnamese coffee is like, first of all, it's an experience. I think everyone should, I'm not I got to eat everything on my plate, everything on the table. I'm more of, this is social time when I go to dinner. And Vietnamese coffee has this cool presentation. They bring it out and it's drip coffee. So it's dripping from the little dispenser over the grounds into your cup. And then it's layered with sweetened condensed milk. And this place was so bougie. It was organic coconut condensed milk.
Good grief.
Yes, I like stuff like that. But I mean, there were bowls of soup that were about $80 on the menu.
$80 a soup?
Yeah,
it's gonna be a no for me, dog.
Did it have gold leaf in it?
It didn't have any gold leaf.
It's gonna be a no for me, dog.
If it don't got gold leaf, I ain't messing with it. If I'm not eating gold, I'm not paying like over $50.
Hey,
I will say this: I got a bowl that was called like the Master Hot Pot or something. That sounds a little bit suspect, but
yeah, you had a bowl of the Master Hot Pot. I ain't gonna.
And that bowl of soup was $40.
It's gonna be a no for me, dog.
See, when you're a girl, you go on dates to eat.
Yeah. See,
John
girls, man, telling you y'all get.
I'm gonna leave that soul alone.
I went with somebody who cared enough to do it. It's okay.
Yeah.
I cared enough to Campbell can soup it.
Well, then you date on a different level.
Clam chowder.
I got the crystal. Look. I got the nice crystal bowls to put it in, and then I hook it up and make it taste like it was homemade.
In the microwave, right? And then you got to put the water.
I finally chop up some leftover Popeyes.
And then you got to get the water. You got to put the water in the Campbell's can.
No.
To get the rest of it.
Shake Marcus, you know better because you didn't get married doing
that.
The
oils,
no.
the oils to
get
come
married
back
serving
like
$2 cans of
but
soup.
During them days, I lived off of beefaroni, clam chowder, and chicken noodle soup.
Yeah, but then once you know better, you do better.
I suppose.
I'm too old to be eating soup out of a can. If I'm dating a man that's feeding me soup out of a can, I'm not dating on my level.
See, here we are trying to act up, and she.
See, I don't agree with that. I agree.
I don't care if you don't agree. You're not dating these men for me.
But here's what I'm saying.
I don't agree. No.
If a man is willing to feed you his last out of a can of soup versus a man who will throw you his leftovers of stuff he don't want.
I don't have those kind of men.
But listen,
I don't care.
If you're basing it off the price of the meal, then the content of the character of the person presenting the meal is not relevant. And I'm telling you, it always is.
Let me be clear on something. One, we don't need to get that deep on it because I'm not going to change my standards. Right. Two, I believe that when you get to a certain place, I'm not in the business, the habit, or the practice of telling Black women to struggle through it. We don't do struggle love in this space.
We call that the struggle snuggle. Sometimes
yeah, I'm not
they
doing
like
it.
that.
I don't need it.
Some people call it sexual assault.
Because you know what I like? I like a man that is, oh Lord, I like a man that is comfortable with himself, that's doing well for himself. Because a man that's not successful is an angry man, and I don't want to deal with that.
But you know what success is?
I don't want to deal with that.
Success
give
is
me
doing
a happy,
something.
Successful man.
No, here what it is. Success is when you're doing something that is meaningful to you, that you love, something that you would pay to do, but getting paid to do. And that may not be the biggest or the best paying job, but that's truly somebody that's happy and content with what they're doing and love themselves enough not to go out and try to do extra just to show off with some stuff that they don't need.
If they got
enough to survive, but they love what they're doing, and that means once in a while soup out of the can and not $40 soup from a restaurant, then
That's
character
fine.
character's way more important.
I never say character doesn't matter. I'm talking about where I go and what I do. And so, and therefore, and you know what? I had this bowl of soup with a man that has character, a nice dude who knew what it was all about. But you know what else? He likes spending time with a woman who has a standard. So
I could dig
so
it.
I ate my soup. I enjoyed it. He bought coffee, and then when we left, he said, "Are you full? Is your belly good? Because if not, I'll buy you
But you know
something
what,
else."
the
And you
truth-
know what I said to him? You know what? If I'm not full by the end of the night, we'll go get $1 slice. See, it works out that way. But no, John. Sorry, at 45, there is no struggle love in my future. And Black women, you don't have to do it because they don't appreciate it anyway.
And Black men, you don't have to do it either because it's a lot of
There's
young
a lot
fine
of people.
things
You know what,
that
though?
take that Campbell soup
But
and dollar slice from the
Yes,
beginning of the
go
night.
right ahead. Go right
But
ahead.
you know what, though?
Sisters, there are men that don't look like this that you can get it from. if you
Here's
want.
what I would
just happen
say.
to be with
Here's
a
what I
nice
would
brother.
say.
Exactly.
Here's what I would say as I change gears. I was clowning. First of all, if you were down with the Campbells, let's get it. But
By myself,
but
with
I'm
a grilled cheese at home.
but I'm totally good with, because at the end of the day, if you wanted to impress a lady, then you got to impress a lady. And I was having this conversation recently off of a meme that I saw, and I can only imagine what John's position is going to be on this. But I'm gonna put it out there anyway, to just kind of get you guys' opinion about this, because I like the way that that date went. Nice dinner and all that stuff, and then at the end, you still good? Let's get a slice. Like I think that's kind of cool. I think that's kind of cool. But
that's those New York types for you.
But the memes, and John, I think you're out of your mind for what you just said, and I don't even think that you believe it. I think you starting shit.
Yeah,
But that's another thing.
Well, no, we'll talk about it a
I
little
think
bit.
you're starting shit.
Okay.
But I saw a meme that said something along the line. Steph, I want your opinion on this first.
All right.
A man has to love a woman more than she loves him for the relationship to work.
I've had older women tell me that.
And it's always older women that's dropping that jewel.
I have had older women, and I'm saying, 10, 15, 20 years older than me. I've had somebody in their 50s saying, I've had someone in their 60s say it. I've heard someone in their 70s say it. And I believe, what I think it is? It's some time ago, I was talking about the position of power. And men recognize and understand power sometimes better than women, because women at a young age are not trained to be powerful. It's more about succumbing to and catering to power. That's how patriarchy works. That's how most Black families work. That's how white families work. It just is what it is until you start to see these generational changes. I absolutely believe that since men understand the value, they understand power or see power a certain way, part of that is about he feels he picked you. He was in the power position of selecting you. You didn't chase him down. And I think those older women are saying it right. Every time I've seen a man who is, it's funny because some chicks, and I'm a little bit like this. I can kind of do my own thing for a long period of time. You don't have to babysit me. You can, I love when you have your own friends and your own life and your own mission, and then we get together and we have our thing. But I'm also extremely focused on my mission, and sometimes that doesn't involve you, brother, and that's okay, because I'm not asking you to hold my hand or babysit me. When you see the kind of dude that can be with a woman like that because he's just so into her and he digs her, he's not in a position of trying to pull her down. He digs that about her. I think a certain kind of man is pulled into that, and the fact that he's selecting it, that is an advocate for his power. And yeah, I definitely think when a man is more, he seems or appears more interested or in love, to me, it's a better situation, a better setup.
What do you think about this, John? As I didn't plan on this conversation, and I don't want to take a lot of time on it, but it was something that I saw on social media. I took it home and asked the question. And I'm asking, sisters that I trust their opinion on this to give me of course he gonna love me. I don't want to talk to that sister. I want to talk to someone who's gonna be like legitimate and answer this question. And I'll speak last on this, but I want to know what you think about this, John. There are some who believe that for a relationship to really, really work, long-term relationships, you're talking about that 50-year grandma and grandpa type thing, you got to have a man that loves a woman more than she loves him, at least in the beginning.
Can I just add one
Please,
caveat?
please.
And the right woman is not going to misuse that
And take advantage of it.
She's going to understand that and
That was the
feel
point.
fortunate in that space.
That was the
Because
point.
I'll be very honest with you.
Yeah.
I've been on the other side of that equation
Yep.
where I used my independence and my power to say, I'm going to go get that. And I could say 5-6 years in, I still didn't have that feeling that that person was more into me than I was into them.
Yeah, I was that you stole a little of my thunder because that's exactly where I was going. I'm glad you stole it. You can have it. John, what's your thoughts on this topic, bro?
It's an episode of Seinfeld called "A Hand."
Hand.
Yeah, who's gonna have the hand?
Okay.
Which is upper
I saw
hand,
that.
But
Okay.
Traditionally, that's what it is. Is that the case? I think more times than not, in order for it to be deemed successful and what we call successful, I think that needs to be the case. Unfortunately, what the add-on that Steph had is very true, but I think it is seldom right. It's like, again, you got to have the right person and the right other person in the right circumstance, and got a lot of right, to come along. And in today's society, we just find it hard to find that. Also, we got a lot of in the same way that women are coming into understanding their power, and they're not being so, I don't want to say subservient, but so, talked down to in society, where they're coming up and standing up on their feet. Men at the same time are being in touch with their less stand-up selves, and they're more emotional and thinking about their feelings and how they feel and what they want.
They are?
Yeah, they are. And guess what they're saying?
Okay.
I want somebody to love me as much as I love them. I want them to be into me as much. I want them to care about what I want to ask them how I look in this. Right? And we get these guys, and who I say trying to out chick they chick, and what happens is they get smashed on, because one, no woman wants to be in competition with her man because she's in competition with all her girlfriends secretly. Then on the other side of it, a lot of times when you get this guy who's all into the woman, like how we were talking about, like he loves her more, she takes it as a sign of weakness. And no woman wants to feel like her man is weak. And this is why a lot of times women press buttons. Sometimes don't be nothing wrong. She said, well, let me press this button and see. I just need to know how far I can go before I get shook, or I got the idea that he might grab me by my shoulders and say something to me very strong. I need to know what that is. I need to know what his point of no return is before I, get into this situation. And then that creates a problem, because if he never goes there, if it's never to the point to where she goes, he might get mad enough to shake me, then a lot of times women get into a situation where they start looking elsewhere because they don't feel necessarily safe, especially if the dude don't got a ton of cash, which equals safety and security, or, whatever else, celebrity or whatever kind of thing that they can equate to safety, and I don't know. It's society is funny. I don't know if that's working nowadays, but the general premise I agree with.
I could dig that. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J. Live from New Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Couple of things I'll say, and then we're gonna move on. I do think just the nature of the chase suggests that at least in the very beginning, he's going to be the one that's going to be showing more interest, which in most cases indicates that he's more into her than she is into him. But I agree, and I like the point about don't take advantage of that, because kind of speaking to John's point, there are some who will. And there are some who will mistake your kindness as weakness and see how well you attempt to treat them and take advantage of it and press those buttons purposefully until they get a reaction. And that's just not okay. So in a, I don't want to say a perfect world, but in a close to perfect world, I do agree with the premise that yeah, you have to understand that's the essence of what chivalry is about. You pull a chair out, you open the door for her, you make sure that she's straight before you get straight. You get on the airplane, you put your mask on, and then you take care of her. You know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of part of taking care of your lady, in my opinion. But to each his own. Ain't no hostile Marcus J Live from New Dan Legacy and Radio. All right, so we got a lot of love here on social media that I've been seeing coming in, but I wanted to get through some of this first, and then I want to get to the rest of the show. So, but let me get these comments in first. One of my favorite people, my brother, my partner, and my best friend, the pretty boy Damon, is checking in. He's saying peace to the family.
What
Good
up,
to see
Damon?
y'all. He said chunky soup is the move.
Yeah, Campbell's chunky in the
Damon?
big in the big can
That's
all
Damon.
day.
And
Damon, don't use your power against me. Maybe a bowl of tomato soup since it's Damon.
You definitely not gonna win with stuff, bro.
I'll take the Chunky's clam chowder with Damon.
Our sister
For
Michelle,
100.
Mama Michelle, is checking in. She said John gonna mess around and make me like him.
Who said that?
What?
Who said that?
Michelle.
Oh,
Michelle.
I'm not calling you tomorrow. No.
Yeah. You gonna mess around, John. She gonna like you. So
I tell her all the
Gotta be
time they have
careful.
more
So,
similar thought process.
we're gonna get
than I would've
into
thought.
the next phase where we have to come together as a group and as a unit because our friend is checking us out. She is saying good morning to us, and so as we do every single week, we say it.
Good morning, Sue.
Yeah, she said, not sure what y'all talk about, but I could cook.
And you know what? To that point as well, since I can provide, nourishment for myself.
Yeah.
When I do go out, I want it to be nice. But I say that even if it's a girlfriend's birthday and I'm taking her somewhere, I'm not going to choose Fridays.
Yeah.
She could do that on her own dime.
Yeah.
I want to make her feel good.
Yeah.
I've taken, a man to Stella's
Yeah.
to have a nice Greek meal. Those things, I don't have a problem reciprocating with the right person.
I think oftentimes what we run into, and this is going to come off bad, but y'all know my heart. A lot of our sisters don't know how to get treated. So when they get treated right, they reject it, they recoil, they fall back. And I think that's a problem that we as men have to own because we put them in that position.
Or they wrongfully gain expectations. And you got to look, I have been on a date where I flew somebody to the Caribbean to have dinner.
Make it go wrong.
Right? No, listen. I've been on a date. I've been on a date and I have flown a woman to the Caribbean to have dinner on the beach. I've done that. Right? That's not a big deal. But here goes the problem. I did that because that's what I wanted to do. And she was welcome to come along with me. But to expect it, to feel like it was something about you that made that happen. If it was something about you, you would have did it. What's going on?
I just don't agree with that. And
So nobody's ever been special enough to you
that's
that
not
you
what,
want
that's
to do
not
those
what I'm saying.
things.
That's what it
That,
sounds
but
like.
let's
That's
be
what-
clear.
but that's
no,
what
no,
it
no.
sounded like.
No, let's be clear.
That's what it sounds like. Clean it up.
When you want to do something,
I got
let
so
me get
many-
it real clear. Let
I
me get
got-
it real
hold-
clear.
Hold on. I got so many people in here. I want to get their comments. I
Okay.
did not expect to be here.
But let me get this
So
real
make the
clear.
point
Let me
quick.
get this real clear.
Because we had a break
If you
point.
want to do something for somebody, like spend 4 months' salary on a ring to marry them, that's a wonderful thing, right? You do that, and that's 4 months gross, not net, on a ring,
Okay.
to show that you love them and want to spend the rest of your life with them. That's beautiful. If you want to do all these extravagant, lavish things because you want to, that's because you want to do that for them. It's what you want to do, and it's based on your capability of doing it. The idea, the audacity, right, to somehow take all of what the other person is doing and their desire to do it for you and make it that's what it's supposed to be. No expectation, gratitude. Thank you. I appreciate the love and affection and generosity
But
you're
that comes
showing
with
me.
it being the right woman.
If you
or right
are a
person.
real man, then you doing your part in this. And if you are a real woman,
Your part.
And if you're a real woman, you're doing your part in this. And I think we as men, just like they as women, spend so much time trying to stand our own point and not acknowledge the other side that we find ourselves in this fight all the time where this wasn't about us. This conversation ain't about us. This conversation was, does he gotta love her more for this to work? And the answer is overwhelmingly yes.
Yes.
Based upon the answer of any grown person who's ever been around a woman in his life. You got to, because that's what the chase is about. And you can reject the 4-month ring all you want, but any married man,
There's no rejection. I bought one before.
And so have I, and that's where I'm going. Every married man or every man who wants to be married, it's just certain things you got to do. But the flip side of that, sisters, is certain stuff y'all got to do too.
I don't disagree.
You know what I'm saying? And I
disagree.
think the imbalance comes in when he don't know his part and she don't know hers. That's where you get imbalanced. But let's leave it there because
all right,
this
that's
is
a
not,
good spot to leave it.
yeah,
Good spot. Good spot.
We're gonna leave it right there.
Nice close, Marcus. Nice close.
I'm good at that.
Good close.
Let's see. Sue says,
Ridiculous.
I am a mess. I am a mess. Sue said men love differently than women, which is essentially what I just said. Which is me and Sue. That's the reason why, because we'll be on the same page. My sister Melinda is checking us out. Love you, love the fam. Tell them all I said deuces. She says from a Christian viewpoint, that's probably right. Husbands love wives as Christ loves the church.
Woo!
And do we give Christ the same love he gives us? We strive. All right,
Okay, Melinda.
that's one for the Christians.
Melinda got a husband.
Melinda's
No, Melinda has a husband, right?
She doesn't.
I was gonna say because
but
I'm not gonna disagree with that advice, and if she got a husband with it,
but she's a Christian and she
I'm
knows.
gonna follow through.
Yeah.
The only
She does.
reason
No,
I
but
say
she's-
that because every Christian song I ever hear sounds like somebody singing.
Hold
a love
on.
song.
Let's keep let's keep it moving,
I agree
folks.
with her.
All right,
I
so
agree with it too.
our sister,
Tongue in cheek, sis.
our sister, and our legacy in that radio staple, Cooler. Cooler is saying, "Hey, good evening."
Hey, Cooler.
Not
That's
our
what
chick.
she said with her icy self.
Cooler was scary
Hold on,
yesterday.
y'all. Hold on. Not our chick, your chick. The fuck y'all talking about?
She know what I'm talking
She
about.
know, she know she ain't
She know
messing with
exactly
no
what I'm
dude
talking
that's
about.
trying
No.
to
She,
out-chick her.
yeah. All right,
She
let me
know.
see. So let's see. Got another comment here, but I'm trying to see who said it because I got this weird thing going on and I can't view all the names to every comment. But let's see.
Had to clean it up.
All right. Melinda says, I agree that the right woman won't take advantage, and that's what works well. Our sister, who I just shouted out a little while ago, and one of my favorite people in the history of my life, who gave us one of the greatest nights in the history of Legacy Net Radio on Halloween a few years ago. Our sister, the clairvoyant medium, Shayna Latia, my yoga teacher, and my sound healing teacher.
What up,
She's a
Shay?
Is
medium?
listening right now. She
Yeah.
is a medium.
I
which
need
is,
to meet
which
her.
is,
That's
which
my
is,
light skin sister.
which is
Y'all don't
the-
understand the
which
light
is
skin
the
power.
that is the environment that she began her journey with us here at Legacy
Yeah.
Net Radio. She's listening, and so I just want to give her that love. First of all, she says not true. I don't agree with that. So she doesn't agree that what we're talking about. So
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, she says some women aren't into material things. I could dig it.
But
I could dig
a
it.
man that it's not all about the material either. And maybe we should put this on a conversation for another night.
Yeah, because Marcus closed it.
there's
Marcus
more
had the
to
great
it.
closer.
I did.
Yeah, 'cause we got
15
something big on the
15 minutes
table.
ago.
Right? And we still
Yeah,
here.
we
Keep
still
going,
here,
keep
yeah.
going, keep
So
going.
y'all gotta let me
If we
close
get in a
when I wanna
relationship,
close.
the board is gonna light up. People gonna call
Y'all
in.
gotta-
We talk all night.
Y'all should know me when I'm trying to transition. Follow me because that's where I want to go. All right. So Cooler says you made the statement now though, so now she does expect it. Did you ever ask her if she really wanted to go? Did you expect sex? She didn't say sex. She said something else. So
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
do. Cooler,
so
you already
but
know.
Nah.
it depends.
Really, no.
It depends.
Because I've had a since Mike Tyson went to jail, I've had a very clear thing with listen, is this or is this or it's not? Say it straight up. So no, there was no
think-
expectation.
I think there's a disconnect when it comes to that because we act like women don't want to have sex as much as we do. That's
I just want to be clear.
Hold on. With one thing, Yes, you want to be clear, but they like it as much as we do. And
maybe a little bit more.
Maybe a little bit more. That's been my experience, but it's been weaponized on both sides. On both sides, it's been weaponized. For example, she's not wrong when she says that there is potentially an expectation of sex when you do a grand gesture that way. However, you can't say that you know that that's how I'm feeling. I might just be into you, and I might just want to be there with you. You don't know. You might just want to come on that trip and not do anything, and that might be all right with me.
Yeah,
but you don't know.
But that's why communication rules the nation.
Communication
you
is
got to
key.
speak up.
Communication is key.
Closed mouth don't
you
get
might
fed.
get down there and you not into it. You just want her to hang, and she get there and you ain't doing nothing with her, and she looking at you like this dude is gay.
Yeah, it happens.
It's not that there's anything.
That's
wrong
why
with
we gonna
being
make
gay,
it clear.
But hey,
look, we no, all right, cool. It's no problem.
Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J live from New Day Legacy and Radio. All right, so we do got some big things to get into, so we're gonna touch this real quick, and then we're gonna move on to our big ticket item. Yeah, but we really do need to touch this real quick. Oh damn, I didn't even see what he just did. I didn't even see that. Yeah, hey, there you go. The slick shit just got past me. Right. Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J live from New Day Legacy and Radio. First of all, love and shout out to everybody who just got into the conversation. We still here, so by all means, continue with your comments. The phone lines are open, 804-402-2893. That is the number to dial to be a part of this. All right, so yesterday in Harlem, Alpo Martinez was murdered. 55 years old. He spent decades in prison for a bunch of stuff, with including drug dealing and murder. And he ended up getting out when he wasn't supposed to get out because he snitched on a bunch of people. And when he got out of jail a few years ago, or prison rather, he ended up in Witsec. But apparently he decided that he wasn't going to stay in Witsec, and he made the fateful decision to hit the hood, and then the hood hit him. So, John, I want you in on this one first. We're going to do one comment around the room, and then we're getting out of this one. One comment around the room, and then we're getting out of this one. So, Alpo, we all remember the movie. Cameron played him and paid in full 20 years ago. 2002 is when this movie came out. Many of us remember it. Many of us know the story because of the movie. So when this came across the wire yesterday, people was expecting maybe to see a picture of Cameron show up on the screen. I don't know. I'm clowning, but it's a big deal because, you know, this is someone who, yeah, he was a terrible person by all accounts, but he apparently was stupid too, because he left Witsec and went to the same hood that he knew the block had to be hot. I don't get it. What you got, John?
New Yorker. I was outside when all of that was going on, so I feel a little bit different about it. I'll say this. Yeah, you listen, like when you when you run a good campaign, sometimes you're gonna get elected. So, I mean, that's kind of what happened. I mean, what do you want me to say? This dude bragged in public about, you know, doing things. They called, part of why they called him Alpo, we used to hang people out windows off of dog chains. So how do you, you know, how do you find empathy or sympathy for that person? I don't know. And then that same person turned his back on his cohorts and was disloyal to them, and then came back to a community that he did a disservice to in his actions and expected to not be harmed. There was some, you know, I received a text message like 4 a.m. about it, and there was some expectation that he was, some speculation rather, that he was trying to, you know, get into a new drug market, and the young boys wasn't having it. And there was some expectation, some speculation that he was speaking to the federal government again about people in the area doing various illegal things. So whatever the case was, I have no empathy or sympathy for someone of his that's cut of the cloth of a Mr. Martinez. And I just look, I guess there's somebody someplace that loves him, and I send my condolences to them because they're the people left sad. And that's it.
And on hashtag Marcus J Live from New Day and Legacy Net Radio. I'll say this, and Steph will take the last word. I got nothing. He was a terrible person. I am of the mind of, I never want to see anybody harmed. But if you harm people, you reap what you sow. What you get is what you get. And there was no gray area when it came to this man's transgressions. And so you said it perfectly, John, absolutely perfectly, when you said my condolences are to the people that love him, because they are innocent in this. They ain't got nothing to do with it. They happen to love him. That ain't got nothing to do with him. That's got everything to do with them.
Exactly.
And I respect that. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J Live from New Day and Legacy Net Radio. Steph, you got some comments in social media. You also have your comment on this topic. You got it. What you got?
Yeah, listen, I think it's always sad when someone doesn't learn the hard lesson of their youth. You're in your 50s and you're still moving like you're in your 20s, and no one is fully developed mentally in their 20s. So it's a little disappointing to see how he continued to move. But you don't have to be a Christian or someone that believes in the Bible to understand the concept that you do reap what you sow. And what you sow, if what you sow is bullets and madness and death, then that's what you reap. And so that's the unfortunate thing. I do feel for his family. But clearly, he didn't love them enough to keep himself secure. He should have stayed in WITSEC. He really should have. So I do love these comments. I love that Marcus, that you're giving me a chance to read these comments because they're quite interesting. So we have let's see. Yeah, you might want to let's see here. All right. So we have Ronnie Devereaux. That's my boo. She said, women pressing buttons. Yikes. That was for you.
Okay.
And she said, I'm new to watching. Is John single? I don't think she's asking because she want to date you, John. I don't think
listen,
that's it.
On that note, I'm absolutely what you call very single.
Then she says, lies! Exclamation point. She is not feeling your statements tonight.
Okay.
And then, who hurt that man? John, you might get if nothing, you're getting some sympathy there. And then, of course, Damon, brother to our leader or our chief executive over here. Damon says, someone said to me that a man needs to love a woman more because women are more emotional and men need to tap into more of their emotional side.
Brilliant.
Spoken like a true pretty boy.
I don't know.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely.
I do believe
I would expect nothing less from Damon.
I do think that goes in touch with what Sue was saying, where men love differently.
Yeah.
The other day I said to someone that they weren't soft enough with me, because no matter how I come across, I want you to treat me tenderly. And I'm not coming across any way that should have you treating me any other type of way. And I think people struggle with that tenderness. I don't think everybody has it. And I certainly think that sometimes the gentlemen that we come across out there, they don't understand that level of tenderness. That even if a woman is not emotional, I don't know if I necessarily like emotional, because men are burning cars and killing women who say no. So let's not allocate emotion to simply to women when we know
that's fair,
that women are dying every single day because men can't handle a single word, right?
That's fair.
So that's not just the issue. I think it is about how we perceive one another and what we perceive ourselves as required to give when we're loving. Right. And a lot of times when someone is in provider mode, they're not living within the space of, I also have to provide care and concern and take care of your emotions. And so if he's been working all day and he's got a lot on his mind and that's where he's focused, you ask him a question, his response is going to sound like the response he would give to somebody back at the job. And there's a lack of understanding that as the woman that is connected to your masculinity and who also has expectations, if I don't think you can handle it, if I don't think you can handle being gentle and kind, I probably shouldn't be with you. And I think that's what happens with a lot of men, is that tenderness is not there.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because part of the discussion that I saw that brought this up reminded me of something that I remember my family's young women and women being taught, that is, if he has to raise his voice or his hands to you, that he ain't the man for you. Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J. Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J. live from New Den Legacy in that radio. All right, so let's do this. Let's move on to where you and I, John, were Friday night.
Right.
So we're going to take a turn in the conversation, and we're going to get to the main topic of tonight's discussion. So I'm going to have you begin it, because I do have a clip that speaks to what we're going to be talking about. And as you can see, the first clip that we're going to get into. So talk to us about what it is we're going to be talking about, and then set up this clip that I'm going to play. We're going to talk briefly about that clip, then we're going to play another one, and then we're going to really get into our discussion. So that's how we're going to move in the next piece of the show. It's yours.
So here in the great capital city of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, we have what has been presented to us as an opportunity to have a casino resort and overall entertainment complex that would include 250 luxurious hotel rooms, 3,000 plus entertainment theater for shows, a sound stage and production studio to do movies and television, and a few other things. A park, a 50-acre park for the public, is going to bring 1,500 jobs with the average annual salary of $55,000, not including benefits, but to include benefits, but that's not in the 55,000. With a lot of tax benefits for the city and some for the state. This venue will cost the city and state $0. It's all privately funded, and there already is in the coffers a $25 million good faith donation to the city to be used for whatever they want to use it for, just to kick it off. So I say it's been presented to us as an opportunity because it isn't an opportunity. It's a done deal. We're going to get a casino in Richmond, Virginia. But what they have us voting yes or no on is whether or not it's going to be black owned and black built. But that's not what they're telling the people is happening. They're telling the people you get to vote whether or not you're going to have a casino and resort in Richmond when we already got casinos in Richmond, right? So they're telling people that they're voting for or against gambling and what it's going to do to the community and blah, and that's not the case. You're being lied to. The casino's coming, folks. It's going to be here. What we need to determine tomorrow, vote on the back of the ballot. You got to turn it over to vote yes or no on whether or not you want a $556 million project that's going to be a multi-billion-dollar enterprise over the years, black owned and black built in the city of Richmond. So we had conversations to that effect Friday evening with the chairperson and founder of Urban One, and Kathy, what's her son's name? I forget. Alfred Liggins, who's the CEO of Urban One at this point, and they discussed the project in detail with us. And the clip we're showing is set up. A young lady asked about internships, and this is what happened. We'll hear the clips, and we'll come back on the other side of this.
Internship programs for Black students, or just in general, like a sort of like internship program for college students.
Yeah, so we do quite a bit of that, at Urban One. You'll be happy to know that, we have to pay interns, it's the law. Yeah. So it's really a job. And I suspect that, one casino and resort won't be different, there will be there will be prohibitions against, involvement in any of the gambling, activities, because those jobs those employees have to be licensed by the state and the lottery, but the rest of the operation is open to internship like opportunities.
Was if anybody in here, the young lady asked about internships, and the gentleman responded that he would assume that multiple businesses that will be operating within the casino and resort and entertainment complex in general will have internships. And by law, and a lot of people think of internships as unpaid jobs. No, by law, they're paid jobs, and you be as an intern, but not students and interns wouldn't be involved in the gambling aspect. A little bit more details about the business portion of this opportunity. Miss Kathy, you spoke about some of that too a little bit. We're going to listen to this clip, and on the other side, again, we're going to get real deep into it.
I'm new to Richmond. I've been in business in Richmond for 22 years. The other thing is we're almost 25, 26 million into this in terms of just organizational costs. So we put a hold on everything. A lot of your questions about businesses and space and all that are on hold until the referendum passes. Right. Because in addition to everything else, I've been a small business. I didn't wake up one morning and say, God, make me the largest media company in America. I started off with one little weak 1,000-watt AM.
So, Ms. Hughes was speaking about having a lot of questions that a lot of people, most of the people in the crowd were business owners. A lot of them were Black women business owners, because that was the focus of the question and answer. And they wanted to make sure that they were creating opportunities specifically for Black-owned women businesses that weren't, always offered, weren't always there. And they wanted the business owners to understand what it was they were voting for. Again, it isn't as it has been presented in news media and even on the ballot about both sides of it, those who want it and those who don't want it. It has been presented that we are voting whether or not to get a casino. We've already got a casino and we're getting another one. We're getting a tower resort style casino like Atlantic City, like DC. We're getting one. It's going to happen. This vote is about whether or not it's Black owned and Black built.
I've been quietly paying attention to this as it's been unfolding. As you can see, I'm wearing a shirt that says "Vote Yes," so I'm obviously one that thinks that this should happen. Initially, when I heard about this, I had heard that the Urban One group, headed by Alfred Liggins and his mom, Kathy Hughes, wanted to bring a casino to Richmond, which is what most folks will hear. They'll hear casino, and they're either going to be like, "Word, we're gonna gamble," or they're gonna completely shut down. Oh, Black folks don't need no casino, all this kind of stuff. And I respect all of that. I respect everybody's position on it. But if it had only been a casino, just a casino, I would have said yes. Why? Because it's Black owned. It's Black owned by a group of people who already have receipts with me. I listen to Radio One when I'm listening to radio, and I watch TV One on television. Now, a lot of these media conglomerates have a whole lot of, shall we say, not all black hands in pot. And I understand and I receive that. But I also thought about it even more, even before Friday, even before, getting to meet Alfred Liggins and Kathy Hughes. And I said to myself, not only do they want to build a casino, but they want to build an entertainment place, a media place, a resort, a hotel, right? Someplace where you can actually have concerts come back to Richmond, where they haven't been able to, because Richmond Coliseum is a place that nobody wants to come to. It's been a dump for 20 years. And, there just isn't any other place to go to other than Altria, which is a closet. And you go to Charlottesville on UVA's campus, or the Omni if you want to stay in Virginia. Or maybe you got to go up to DC to actually see somebody. Whereas now you could potentially not only have that here, but you also have sound studios where you can actually create content, TV shows, movies, things of that sort. And we know Virginia, Richmond in particular, is a great place for them to bring movies. There's always a movie being shot here, even if you don't know it. Even if you don't know it, there's always something shot here. They shot The Walking Dead right down in Hopewell, and the movie Lincoln here in Richmond. So they always shooting stuff here. But here's where I brought all the way in. I have friends who have businesses. We were at Very Ashley's Friday night, and I spent a lot of my time at Croker Spot, Brewers Cafe, Pig and Brew. I don't normally do that, but I'm doing that today for a reason. They have retail space for businesses like them, local, to obtain. So here you have a casino, which is going to be the draw. Let's just keep it funky. That's going to be the draw. But you're going to have an influx of money coming from all over the country, because I just came from Vegas. I didn't gamble. That's not just what I do. But I went to Vegas, and I grew up in New Jersey, so I know all about Atlantic City. And now I got people who I know right here in our beloved RVA who trek right up 95 to the MGM at the border of Maryland and Virginia. So there's a lot of legitimate opposition to people who don't want a casino in Richmond. But you nailed it, John. We already got Rosie's.
There's two of them here, Rosie's and
we already got Rosie's. So I'm like this. Forget that it's black owned for just a moment. Let's just say it's just some company that's coming here. We know that they're going to contract local businesses to be in that space. So if someone is passing through here, and yeah, it's black owned, it's a draw for me. I didn't want to completely throw that out, but yeah, that's a draw for me. Somebody who is passing through, who goes inside the facility in the boutique, and they come across Very Ashley, and they're like, word, this is real dope. I like this, what you got. And they buy something, and they head back to their home state. What are they going to do? They're going to remember that they went to Very Ashley, and they're going to go online to see if she has an online store. So guess what they're doing now? They're buying her products online. Or that same person may be passing through who got the 2-piece fish boat from Croker Spots. Like, man, that was great, because it is. That was great. Every time they come to Richmond, now they know that that's where they're going. All of this in an area that doesn't have anything now. 100 acres in the south side of Richmond. So, there are plenty of people who have reservations, and I understand and I respect that. But I also know that a casino is coming here.
Yeah, so
it's coming here anyway. So why not have the face? Because there's something to be said for the face for me. There's something to be said for the face for me. So I think that it would be wise for us to come off of the we don't need it, and we do this for our city. I think it's something that we should say yes to.
So this, I just want to be clear so people really understand something here, right? 60% of the construction contracts shall be local black-owned contractors, right? Minority contractors, I should say. uh, of the service or retail space. Same difference. Local people. So it's like real important that we understand that. We just had a situation with the Navy Hill project that everyone said they wanted to vote down because of this, that, and the other thing. Guess what? The Navy Hill project is going on right now. They broke ground, they're building it, but there were no jobs made readily available for local contractors or minority contractors. We didn't get anything out of it. And we had to give money back to it in taxes from the city, where we wouldn't have had to with the initial program. Same thing is going to happen with the casino. Casino's going to happen, but we're going to have city tax dollars and tax breaks to the people building it. Same way they gave money to the Washington football team to practice here, and they give money to other people to come here and do things. They're going to give money to people to build a casino. We're not going to be afforded the same opportunities. I mean, come on, they got a special bus line. They're going to pay for the city to add the bus line to bring people to work at the casino. They there's a second tower of another 150 hotel rooms after this is done. This is already laid out. So on top of the 1,500 jobs, you got another 500 jobs coming. So there's a lot to be said for what's going on here. And people got to know what they're voting for. Yes or no, that's on you, but know what your yes or no is. Your yes or no is specifically Black owned and built or not.
Say what you say what, Steph?
So I've been watching this closely because of the three of us, I live the closest to where this is going to go. And I had not made up my mind. It's a game day decision for me, although I'm about 99% which way I'm going. But I do think it's only fair to the people who are listening to, I don't want to be bought and paid for. And I say that in the sense that if you go and look at all the people who have said yes to it already, who are on a political level, there have been campaign donations, to not only the mayor, but other individuals to get a cosign on this. And these are people, the people who don't live here. This is an economically depressed space. Simply having a casino, and I worked at the Taj Mahal for 2 years when I was younger. I went to high school outside of that area, Egg Harbor Township area. I have my very best friend from high school and plenty of people who are my Facebook connections who live in Atlantic City. And the fact of the matter is, I think it's disingenuous to say, I like something, this something does these 2, 3, 4, 5 things, but not think that we should have the conversation about the downsides of what a casino industry brings to an environment that's already economically depressed. And to make an assumption that simply putting something that makes money in a space immediately means that that space is going to be better. So I struggle with that part of it. I'll hold the rest of my point. Let's see who's calling in.
Ain't no how Steppin, Marcus Shay, live from New Den, Legacy Net Radio. Caller, you are on the live line. What your name is?
Hey, my name's Alan Charles Chipman. How y'all doing?
Hey, Chipman.
What's happening?
Thank you for calling in. A local activist politician.
Okay.
Ran for mayor.
Okay. What's your name? I didn't catch it.
It's hard to hear y'all a little bit, but you asked me where I'm from.
I was asking your name. I didn't catch your name.
Alan Charles Chipman.
Okay, great.
I ran for a 6th district city council.
In
the last go round.
Well, first of all, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for calling, and we appreciate your comment. What is your comment?
And if you
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was asking you your comment.
I am against the casino. It's kind of hard to hear you all, but did you ask me what my opinion is?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm voting no on this for a lot of reasons. Number one, casinos are predatory. They have been shown by many stories, independent studies, to contribute to economic inequality. They actually 40 to 60% of their revenues come from people who are addicted to their product. The DSM-5, which is the kind of the Bible of psychology, of psychological disorders, actually added, after the last 10 years of research, they actually added gambling addiction to the substance abuse section, which is right next to heroin, cocaine, all the things that have come into our communities and destroyed them. Casinos are now at the professional level actually seen as at that level. I think it's also important to note the influence of money that happens on these casinos. I know that you were talking a little bit earlier about who has kind of been influenced by this, but the mayor has been paid by this project. City council members have been paid by this project, specifically Ellen Robertson, who was on the selection committee. The president of the NAACP in Richmond, and to be fair, he withheld himself from the vote, but he was paid $7,500 to actually pitch this project. So a lot of the voices that are seen as kind of the moral voices on the yes side have actually been paid to do this. Even Al Sharpton, who came to town to pitch this project, is currently an employee of Mr. Liggins, and he was making, for 6 years, he made $700,000 a year being a TV host on Urban One. And so I think it's also important to know about the players of people, because I know that Richmond One says that this is about economic empowerment. But when you actually study Alfred Liggins and Kathy Hughes and Radio One, when there was a bill called HR 848 that actually would have given economic empowerment to help pay artists and performers, Black artists and performers, to get the money their proper royalties in order to get their proper money, Alfred Liggins and Urban One actually came out against the bill. And this was a bill supported by Barack Obama. The NAACP actually came out against them and said that, Dr. King and his last movement was for workers' rights, and that we did not march in order for a few African-American millionaires to exploit and hoodwink African-Americans. And so what they have been fighting for, that was like 2009 to 2012, they led a 3-year campaign against economic empowerment for Black artists that they make money off of. So why should we believe that they're going to bring economic empowerment to Richmond when it's really about protecting their pockets? And so casinos are extractive policies. A lot of people also don't know that casinos, I jokingly say, I'm not excited about a Black-owned casino, just like I wouldn't be excited about a Black-owned payday lender, right? Because if it's exploitation, as Sister Angela Davis would say. But people don't know that casinos, much like the one that Alfred Liggins has a 5% ownership share in MGM National Harbor, actually gives out loans, right? They're called marker limits. They have a fancy name for them, but they actually give out loans to people who are addicted to keep gambling. These marker limits have been so aggressive that in places like Massachusetts, there were casinos that were putting out liens on people's houses and actually foreclosing people's houses based on this. So I say that to say the predatory economic model. So a lot of times they say it's more than a casino, which is true, but it's also true that it's not less than a casino. A hotel and an event space doesn't need a referendum, right? Because hotels and event spaces have not destroyed communities, have not contributed to economic inequality, and have not captivated people into an addictive product like the other ones have. I've said very openly, if this was just one resort and it just was a hotel and a casino, I'd probably be in the commercials and I'd be driving the van that I've been seeing around. But unfortunately, it still is a tool of exploitation. It still contributes, as many independent studies say, for every dollar that it gives the city, it costs the city $3. So I say it like this: if I were to come to you and say, hey man, I'm going to give you $20, and we go around the city and we say, I'm going to give you $20, I'm going to give you $20, but I never tell you that I'm going to take 60 from you. What that is, when you do the math, right? When the math works out, is you're running a campaign on a $40 deficit. And so the numbers look good. And again, people are saying things like we have a community benefits agreement with the city. Let me tell you why that doesn't make sense. Community benefits agreements have to be made with community systems, not with governments, because government leaders leave. By the time this is constructed, Mayor Stoney won't be the mayor. We don't know who will be the mayor. We've seen the city council get more and more white, right? And we've seen city council, right, take these revenues from the city and allocate it towards the white side of town, right? Even if you look at the last capital improvement process, which determines which part of the city gets the most money for infrastructure, they gave Southside a raw deal, right? I talked to Councilman Jones and said, look, since people are suddenly concerned about Southside, why don't we put forward legislation to say the federal money, right, which is the ARP money, why don't we say we want to give 60% of this to Southside because there's been racial inequities in the past? They would not commit to a number. They would not commit to a number, right? And so what I'm saying is, even if you look at revenues just mean money's going to go to city council. It doesn't mean money's going to go to Southside. And so these revenues will simply produce revenues to go to majority white city council, which just in the last budget session, even though all these council members are smiling in the commercials and telling you to vote yes, when it came to funding Southside equitably, they voted no in the last session. And so I'm saying when but what is proven, right? It's not proven that city council will vote for Southside. It's more proven that they won't. But what is more proven is that casinos contribute to economic inequality. So I don't want to get a whole bunch of Black people excited about letting an extractive product into their communities to generate money for every other district in the city that said build it over there. So again, perhaps the only thing more racist to say build it over there is perhaps to actually do it and not have binding decisions, right? A city council can't even make a decision about how the next city council can spend funds. It's literally illegal to do. So they can come on TV and say, yeah, we can. Because if you read all the flyers, the 1,800 flyers you got, what does it say? This revenue can be used, right? And so you have a possibility, unfortunately, attached to a probability of not using revenues to fund Southside appropriately. So what you're going to see is you're going to see this economic inequality come into the Southside, generate revenues, maybe for a couple of years, because casinos go bankrupt as well. And you're going to see that money going over to Scott's Addition and going to all these other types of places. And so you're going to have an extractive measure put in a Black community to benefit white communities. And if you understand history and organizing, we call that a colony. And so I jokingly call one casino one colony, but I'm just saying, understand exactly what you're voting for, like the brother said. And in order to do that, you have to look beyond what the talking points have been. You have to talk about when they say we have a community benefits agreement with who? You got a community benefits agreement with people that are out the door, right? And so you really don't have promises. But what you do is you have probability. And probability is when the city gets more revenue, just like they did with the federal money they got, money that ain't even there, right? So if somebody doesn't prioritize you with somebody else's money, why do you think they're going to prioritize you with their own money when they just historically and categorically have not? And so when people say, what can we do? The alternative is, instead of running a 6-month campaign on putting a casino, how about we run a 6-month campaign, and how about we have radio ads? How about we ask Jamie Foxx and Missy Elliott to ask city council to give Southside the money they should have been getting over the last 2 decades? That's what the solution is. But the casino, unfortunately, is a distraction from the true issue of what really needs to happen. And when we think about jobs, think about this. Why do we only get offers about jobs, right, when there are extractive measures attached to them to Black wealth, right? We're building a General Assembly building that we've been working on for 4 or 5 years. Where have any of these people and these city council members and all these people in the commercials spoken up and said, since that's being built right here in the heart of Richmond, we want mostly Black people building those?
Yeah.
They've been absolutely silent. Not one radio commercial on Radio 1 about this. But suddenly when it's time for them to make profit off of the most vulnerable in our society, then they care about economic empowerment.
I can dig it. Ain't no how Steppin with Marcus J live from New Dan Legacy Internet Radio.
I'm sorry, I have one question. There are 5 cities selected to have casinos by the state and federal government. Richmond is one of them. It's a done deal. We're gonna get a casino. It doesn't matter. The casino, everything that you said about a casino, true or not true, is not relevant to the question.
But it is
because
true.
it's not. Okay, it is true. It's not relevant to the question because that's not what we're voting for. No one is voting for whether or not we're going to have a casino because the decision is already made. Richmond is getting a casino. And if all of these things are going to happen, it's going to happen no matter what. So the question on the ballot
That's not actually true.
That is actually true on the federal level and the state, the federal and the state level.
Can only come into a community if it's been voted yes. Meaning that if someone says, no, I don't want a casino, and another person says, I don't want a casino. And as Mr. Liggins threatens and says, I'm going to take it to Henrico. I'm going to take it to Chesterfield. Guess what? Henrico and Chesterfield can say, no, you're not, because we don't want a casino.
Okay.
And that is well within their right. This is why they have to wage these campaigns. So you can say there's a possibility that someone may say yes, but it's not a guarantee that this casino will go somewhere else.
We just experienced this with Navy Hill.
The white population in Richmond overwhelmingly said, no, I don't want it here. As you go into Henrico and Chesterfield, which is more white than Richmond, it's a great chance that they say, I also don't want a casino.
That's right.
Listen, the city of Richmond has been selected. Those other cities have not been selected. Right? Richmond is on the list to receive a casino. We're going to receive a casino. If somebody actually thinks that we're not going to get a casino, you're thinking wrong. They've already been selected as a city to get a casino. The question is whether or not the local and state taxes are going to be put into it, right? Because this is what's going to happen. Same thing just happened with Navy Hill. Everybody said, oh, no, we can't do that. We're not going to do it. Navy Hill's getting built right now by somebody else, and tax dollars is going into it. So we have to decide. The decision has been made. The whole point of this vote is whether or not Black-owned and Black-built. So the exploitation is going to happen, whether or not Black people are going to do it.
We want to be the ones to do it.
Listen, if it's going to get done, and on top of that, they're going to be the first casino to offer profit sharing to the employees. So the Gaming Commission is against it because no place else in the world, not just America, no place in the world offers profit sharing with employees. That's part of what is in writing, done deal. If it comes up for Urban One, they're going to be the first to offer profit sharing to employees in the gaming business. So there is what you said. They will vote no. They could vote no or yes or no, right? But if they vote this one down no, the other one is coming. The vote's going to be in the dark. It's going to get done, and we're going to have a casino, and we're going to turn around just like Navy Hill, and we're going to have it built without any Black people involved and any Black people getting any money of any kind.
Well, let's talk about Navy Hill for a little bit, right? Because people talk about Navy Hill a lot, right? But they don't talk about how, for example,
Yes, hello? Hello, I wanted to hear, sir.
Go ahead, Chipman.
We pay for itself that has maybe less seats than what was proposed. And they said it was impossible. No one would pay for that in the city of Richmond without any type of tip or city funding. But here comes one resort who's doing exactly that, right? So the things that they said are impossible suddenly become possible when you stand your ground and say you're going to pay for what you need to pay for. Also, it's also funny that these same investors that said we can't do Navy Hill without 60 blocks of the city going towards paying this off suddenly found the ability to pay it for themselves when they're dealing with white people in Henrico. So again, when people want to pull up to the city, a mostly Black city, and run game and run hustle and say stuff is impossible because they're protecting their profit pockets, right? But it suddenly becomes possible when they're dealing with white people. Nobody talks about the racism that's inherent in that.
I agree with you. I agree with you. This is a dirty business.
No, it's not a guarantee that people will have a casino. People have the opportunity. So for example, there were 4 casinos that were proposed here, but now we're only talking about 1. So it's, again, people can say, but again, the law, if you read the law, no casino can come unless the majority of people vote yes. That's why we're in this entire process. If it was guaranteed, all it would take is for the selection process of the mayor to say, this is the casino we're doing, it would automatically be happening. The reason that's not happening is because the law says it cannot go unless the locality goes. And I would bet more money than not that Chesterfield and Henrico, who have way more popping economic infrastructure than us, would not even be interested in a casino.
There are 2 casinos operating in city limits right now, right? They're gambling facilities, and people are filling up the parking lots, right? But the point I'm trying to make is this proposal that actually Urban One won out. They were 5 proposals, they won out, and that was a vote a few months ago. The idea that we are not going to get a tower casino and hotel, that is not going to happen, I think is far-fetched. It's going to happen. Whether or not we're a part of it is the issue. I can understand what you're saying about it being a corrupt, predatory kind of situation. So is banking, right? But I see a Chase branch going out towards Short Pump right now. Is predatory and evil and all of that stuff, and addicted. ABC is addicted, but they do what they do what they do. I know that Urban One has proposed that 7% of profits go into a gambling addiction treatment program to help people deal with their addiction. No other casino has proposed that.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from New Den Legacy Internet Radio. That's all.
I want to say thank you, Chipman. I'm gonna just call you Chipman. It's funny because his Twitter handle, if anybody wants to follow him, and this brother really has done a lot to bring awareness to some of the things that are going on in the city of Richmond and 6th District. I actually reached out to him because I was late to the game. I reached out to him some time ago and said, if you ever run again, let me know. Even if I'm not where you're running, I'm happy to support you because I think that you make clear and concise arguments. The thing that bothers me, and the reason it took me, I'm walking in there tomorrow on Commerce. So I vote on Commerce. I live on Commerce. Is it my chosen habitat? Yes. I didn't grow up here. I didn't grow up in Blackwell. I didn't grow up in what they're calling historic Manchester, any of that. But I have seen what casinos have done. And I think what saddens me the most is Chipman is bringing up excellent points about the poison that can be introduced to our community, about the things that can happen and have been proven. There's all kinds of documentation proven to have happened. That's why, to your last point, that's why they're creating the fund. They know that addiction is going to occur, right? Monday through Thursday, middle of the week, this is accessible to people who live down the street from me, who are spending their last. And so I've been thinking about that and processing that and wondering, it's not just Richmond's going to get one. Do we need to put it right there in the backyards of people, who are going to be lured or compelled by the idea of a win? That's problematic, that we're just like, well, it's going to come anyway. So never mind the fact that it's going to be painful and potentially hurtful, and that we have statistics that demonstrate that it is it's hurtful to our people. I even heard you, and I was kind of surprised, talk about how this would help Black women entrepreneurship, when you're the person who consistently talks about pandering to Black women and so on and so forth, and how politicians do it. He makes extremely relevant points, and I don't want to dismiss his points. And by the way, Chipman, thank you so much. Let me stop right here for a minute. Thank you for calling in. We appreciate you. Please keep the number. Call back in. The vote's going to happen. We're going to be talking about it, I'm assuming, with the fellas afterward as well.
Thank you.
But thank you very much
Brother,
for an educated
Thank you
opinion.
very much.
Before I let you go, brother, you brought so much to the show tonight. Your presence is absolutely welcome anytime we're talking about anything. It doesn't matter if we agree. It doesn't matter if we disagree. Your voice is welcome. It is needed. And I love you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, and listen, I went a counterpoint, but I appreciate on a level can't even explain your viewpoint and what you brought to the show. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you,
really
brother.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the end of the day, you know, whether this is here or not, we all got to organize, whether you were for this or against this, to make sure Southside gets their money.
You got it, brother.
Right. And I, more than anything, I want people to get out and vote.
Be safe, brother.
I don't care what you vote, yes or no. Please vote.
Be safe, brother. Be cool. Be safe. Thank you. And you know, I have Steppin Marcus J live from New Dan Legacy and that Radio Ice. So we had a caller that was trying to call a few minutes ago while we had the brother Shipman on the line. Caller, if you still interested in getting your comment in, please call us back 804-402-2893. There have been several people that have been commenting in the normal space, and as opposed to reading those comments, I've just been adding them to the feed so the viewers can view those comments. I'll read one. It is a counterpoint to the brother Shipman who we just had. This brother is somebody that's very, very important to me and important to the history of Legacy and that radio and my radio career. My brother and friend Aaron Turner is listening. He says this is more than a casino, a resort with hotels, restaurants. People talk about crime. We already have high crime. We mostly have high crime because of no opportunities. Casinos don't bring crime. We have so much opposition for Black-owned casino, but never said one word for years about VCU building in downtown Richmond and not paying any taxes. Rosie's is a gambling emporium, not a casino. We don't talk about the state-funded ABC stores either. And then we getting a hit from Mr. Legacy Jones. He said he was trying to get in, but he's thanking everybody. It was hard to hear. Oh, this is the same brother that we was just listening to. So sorry about that. I misunderstood the comments. So anyway, comments are coming in. Folks are listening. Folks are watching. 804-402-2893 to the caller who we didn't get to. And anybody else who is listening and wants to be a part of it. Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J live from New Dan Legacy and Radio. Steph, please continue.
Yeah. So listen, who doesn't want new jobs? Who doesn't want new opportunity? You want those things. We absolutely do. I think those of us who are politically engaged and involved do talk about things like ABC stores. I've been talking about the placement of liquor stores in our community since I was a kid. You know, I'm someone who turned down a job with a national cigarette manufacturer because of what I know it does to our community, because I walked around a borough that had Newport signs up everywhere. And I know it does nothing good for us. You know, we can walk and chew gum. Simply because something has happened doesn't mean we shouldn't speak out about the things that are about to happen. Yes, it'll bring new jobs, but he makes an excellent point. Chipman makes an excellent point about the fact that we have not yet experienced revenue produced and promised to the South Side. The South Side still, and again, this is a chosen community for me. You know, I downsized to this community when my children grew up. There's no reason I can afford grocery delivery once a week if I want to. There's no reason that there's not a grocery store there. There's no reason whatsoever. You found a way. You found a way to promote and get out the vote and get out and galvanize and speak out loud about a casino, but you haven't provided provisions of food. Food. If I want to get grocery, if I forget the chicken for my recipe, I have to, and if I don't have a vehicle, there is no access. There's a bodega. There's a bodega. Now, mind you, I live on the side of the street where most of us are considered gentrifiers. This is a community that has long been without its necessities. No doctor's offices. No, not even social service buildings.
Yeah.
No food entities. Nothing, no farmers market. Nothing that we could have committed to and built with less output than this casino. And so my biggest point in agreeing with him is we're now asking people who have been proven to not care about this community to give us something. And I'm talking about the people who are on city council. I looked through the list of the people that took money from Mrs. Hughes and Mr. Liggins. I looked at that list. Those same people have been here forever, and you still haven't advocated for the needs of the people in that portion of Southside. Now we can say we're new blacks and we have businesses, and I put up my small restaurant, my coffee shop, and this, that, and the other. People need to be able to feed their children at home. People need consistent transportation. People need small physicians' offices, dental practices. All of these things are necessary over there. And he makes an excellent point that simply because you gave me the business doesn't mean you can hold me accountable to what I do with the revenue. And the fact that, I think I've been a little shocked that we're so comfortable with, yeah, people are going to get addicted. Yeah, crime's going to go up. Yeah, this is going to happen. It's going to be, yeah, okay, all right. But at least we're going to have a casino. It shocks me that we're not saying, I'm willing to have that conversation with you about the casino and resort, but not until on paper, in a practical way, in a commitment, money in escrow, you commit to the things that these people actually need.
Yeah.
I had a situation where I needed to pick up the phone and call RPD. Didn't want to, but it was 2 a.m. and I needed to call them. Took them an hour to get there, hour and a half.
Yeah.
He gave me his business card and said, "I'm so sorry." Now I have to think if I lived just a couple streets over, he wouldn't have been apologizing.
And he wouldn't have taken an hour and a half.
And he wouldn't have taken an hour and a half.
So
we're in this space, and I get it. It's going to come, and it's going to come with white faces. But I cannot imagine looking at a group of people, looking at South Africans in Soweto and saying, it's going to happen anyway. You might as well let the black people create a situation of create and manage apartheid. Because it's going to happen. So why not let it happen at the hands of black people? I hate that we've gotten there.
Yeah.
I hate that we've gotten there.
But we're here. And here's here's how I look at it, right? I hear what you're saying. I don't disagree with what you're saying. And the brother makes some very compelling comments. I'm not a politician. I'm not someone that can argue or debate on his level. I ain't going to try. I'm a layman when it comes
Nor
to
am I. He's clearly very educated.
He's clearly educated and well versed.
That's why he ran and I didn't.
And I'm a layman. As a layman, I look at this and I see a desert in that part of our town. And you guys both mentioned how there aren't even supermarkets over there.
And they're not going to come because of a casino.
But here's what I'm saying. We're talking about construction when we know that at minimum, there are going to be people who are going to get hired to build this thing. And there are going to be people that are going to get hired to run this thing. And there are going to be people who are going to get contracts to have their businesses in this thing. So for me, as a layman, understanding that a casino is going to draw nationally. How many people in this town do you think are going to show up at this casino? I would be willing to bet a year's salary that more people from out of town are going to populate this building when it opens than people locally on a yearly basis by a wide margin. So that tells me that you're going to have outside revenue, money that's coming into our town that wasn't already here. So based on just those couple of quick things that I said, again, I'm a lay person when it comes to this. So we can argue and we can debate it, but I'm not going to come to you with numbers and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to just come to you with common sense. And common sense to me is, why not build something where there wasn't something so that you can create something? We can get into the whole the economics, we can get into the where, we can get into the black people, we can get into the casino and the gambling, we can get into all of that. But I understand the point you were making, Steph, but you know what? We got casinos all over this country.
We do, but I don't live down the street from them.
And we got casinos all over this country that bring more than gambling revenue. And to me, that makes it worth it.
So here's my thing. I really, in all honesty, right? I don't have a problem with anything that the gentleman said or that Steph said with regard to the negativity of the subject matter. My issue has to deal with the vote, and my issue is with we are conflating business and politics, right? Because the state and the city are responsible for making sure we have a supermarket. The state and the city are responsible for making sure that there's affordable housing, that the streets are clean, and all of these things that are an issue. This private business shoulders zero responsibility for any of that. They don't. All they need to do as a business is make money. That's their number one priority. And to begrudge them for making money, in my opinion, is wrong.
Wow.
Now, if the city hasn't, at this point, I've been here for 4 years, right? And I haven't seen them build a supermarket or improve a school or do anything for any place in any neighborhood with brown folk in it. And it doesn't seem like they have any inkling to do so. I've been pushing from my first foot on the ground in the city. We have a majority of black people in the city limits. Let's vote this thing. I've been yelling vote since as long as anybody in this room has known me. Vote, 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 vote. Right? I don't care if you vote no. Go vote. Go vote. Go register to vote. Let it be known what you have to say. But my point is this. We cannot start. These things are mutually exclusive. Guess what? We can do both. We can deal with the business of a casino and whether it's good or not good or bad and addiction and liquor stores and all. We can deal with all of that, right? But guess what? That doesn't change the fact that we still need supermarkets on the south side. We still need infrastructure. We still need to fix the streets. We still need affordable housing. We still need all of that. And that's something that comes from downtown, from City Hall, and from the state building. And we don't need to wait for the casino to talk about that. We need to talk about that all year. We need to talk about it all year. We need to vote on it every year, not just when the casino is not the end all and be all, beginning or ending to any of the sufferings and problems and poverty in this city. What it is an extremely good business opportunity for people doing business, right? And the fact that it's going to be gambling and listen, we all grew up playing Monopoly, right? Monopoly is based on Atlantic City. And why you think the very cheap properties are right on the same corner with the most expensive properties? Because if you ever go in the back of Atlantic City, you think you was in Baghdad. Because that's real. But again, that has to deal with the politicians and the people in the city, the people you
and that's
go
the
and
point
put,
both he and I brought up.
The people you go and put in office, not when there's a vote for the casino, but when there's a vote for everything else.
And you know how Steppin Marcus J live from New Den, Legacy in that radio. Let's get some comments in from social media. A lot of the comments that were coming in, we had to post them in the feed and not read them because we were kind of going. But we can start reading some again. We're getting some love from our sister Clovia Lawrence. She's checking us out. She says she loves the shirt because I am voting yes. If I lived in the city of Richmond, I don't, unfortunately. But she says 78% of the people from out of town will populate the one casino in RVA. So there's that. And then our brother Shipman is still watching and listening. He says, I hear you, brother, but the ways casinos are designed as destinations is that casinos is designed for people to come to their site and not leave and spend in the city. It wouldn't be the case if we have those local contracts for the local businesses on site. So while I hear you and understand that, I don't. I think that point is negated by the contracts that are going to be given for them. Destination casinos are advertised, but the research shows that as time goes, and they can't compete with Vegas per se, MGM and DC, they start to just be neighborhood casinos. And Dating Pool Diva, author Charisma of Legacy Internet Radio, and Ain't No Hashtag with Marcus J. She is alumni, one of the original 7. She says, John, you make some great points. She's agreeing with some of the things she said. She also continues, I think the casino is good for our city. From an economic perspective, it may present other problems, but it will most likely help Richmond grow. It has been stuck in the mud for many years. Ain't No Hashtag with Marcus J. Live from New Den, Legacy Internet Radio. What you got?
One last 5-second point, then I'll step back for anybody else. Live Nation has contracted with Urban One to bring 200 shows annually to the 3,000 plus seat arena. That's 200 shows annually, right? So that's what, 4 shows a week, and double on the weekend sometimes. So it's gonna this type of situation as far as bringing, like you said, it does happen. Once you can compete with Vegas, it does become more locally, but it never becomes 50-50. It's always minimum 60-40 of outside money. But when you have a theater on premise that's doing shows, right, and you have a 250 room luxury hotel, it creates an environment that's going to consistently be closer to 70-30 split, right? And again, it's business. It's business. It's not that the body politic plays a part in business when people are taking money, and they shouldn't. I don't agree with that, and I have separate issue with that. But I do not believe that whether or not this casino does or doesn't come to the area is going to affect in any way, shape, or form the poor condition of the neighborhood and what the city has allowed it and continues to allow it to be. It's a separate issue and it needs to be dealt with, but not at the cost of losing the casino.
Sue asked a great question, Steph. Speaking to what John was saying, she asked a great question. Will Richmond fill up 3,000 seats? That's a fair question. I wonder if we will, because Richmond has shown it difficult to support, bigger events like this. We couldn't keep any local teams or anything like that, and so I wonder. While I'm a yes vote. If I lived in the city of Richmond, I just am, and I made my points. I'm not going to continue on because it is what it is. And I respect the opposition because I haven't heard anything in the opposition that I disagree with. I don't disagree with people who say no.
Well, for Sue, it's Fredericksburg to Petersburg. It's not just Richmond.
I got you. I don't disagree with the no's. So let me just be clear. I don't. I don't disagree with the no's. I just think the yes outweighs the no. And as I said earlier, Steph, I ain't no politician. I'm not coming from a perspective where I know that the NAACP leader got $7,500. I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know that the mayor is got. I don't know that stuff. And the average, I guess I represent the average.
I believe it.
I guess I represent. I guess I represent the average voter. Because the average voter is going to look at the issue and make a decision based upon the issue. Now, you do your research, but there's stuff out there and you might just miss it. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't, but maybe you do. For me, JJ Minor getting $7,500 doesn't move me one way or the other. Just doesn't. I understand and respect that it moves some folks, but a project of this size, I'm not surprised that they pay people to go out and promote it. Because this, even though it's Richmond, Virginia, this is still America. And America does some foul shit. Let's not act like we live in a bubble somewhere that's not America. Like, we know what it is when it comes to how certain things and certain businesses get made and certain deals get made and all that kind of, like, we know what it is when it comes to that. I am a layman when it comes to this, but I'm also a person who has stayed in a Holiday Inn. Okay. And so I can know some stuff. And what I know is what I know. And what I know is, hey, look, man, we don't have nothing in that area. We can debate the whole casino thing. And I know you say casino for some folks, conversation's going left. Period. It just is. It's going left when you say casino. They're not going to pay attention to any of the other stuff that is there. Any of the other stuff that you could make a fair argument that these are positive things for our town. You can make a fair argument for those things. But when you say casino, it goes left for some folks, and I dig that.
But I think we demean, and I know the activists that are speaking about it, and they are educated. I think we demean their points when we say that simply because they say the word casino, they go left. That's not where Alan Charles Chipman is, Chelsea Higgs Wise, Jewel Jordan, none of those people. It wasn't just there's a casino here. I mean, I think it's interesting that the same rules do not apply. I just want these rules to apply when we start talking about politics and things later on. Well, I'm going to bring this up.
Let me just address your point before you continue. Every conversation that I've had prior to this, brother, where people were opposed, it was always because of the casino. And when the other things came up, it was, oh, okay, that could be good.
Well, every conversation I've had that has been on things that are very minor. We're going to have shows here. There are people literally living in that area.
That creates revenue, though.
There are literally people living in that area that no matter how much, even when Hild came and started buying up everything on Hull Street, there was nothing that benefited those people with their depressed properties. They're still behind. They're still behind on their taxes. We can easily say it's business. It doesn't matter. It's not politics. Sure, we can say that about Biden. It's politics. It doesn't have to be about your business. This is what it is. People are putting money in it. I don't want to hear nothing else. The fact of the matter is, when we have politicians who are specifically responsible for the things, and I don't know how people have lived in that space as long as they have without holding these politicians accountable. But when the politicians then align themselves with a business endeavor and go to sell it to the voters, it is now not just business, it's politics as well. And I think it's unfair. And I think it's disingenuous to say it's only business when it is both business and politics.
I agree with that. And
I think it's disingenuous. I
just to let you
finish,
get back, but I agree with what you just said. My point, but
let's go.
I will, but I just want to get my point in saying that it's only just business wasn't that way. What I meant by that was it's wrong. Yeah, they shouldn't have took the money. They should not have took the money. They shouldn't be out promoting this. And when it's a vote thing, when it's a political issue of it coming, that's why I said
ballot, which makes it political.
That's why I said go vote.
It has a referendum.
But this is why I said go vote, yes or no. But vote, please vote. I want everybody to vote. The no is as important as the yes to me. What I'm saying is this: if the casino doesn't come, do you think a supermarket will get there sooner because it's not there?
I'm not saying that it will, but what
pause.
But what I am saying is, as much as people are getting a hard on for the casino, I wish they could get that same level of pitter patter in their pants to actually feed people.
We agree on that.
So when we dismiss it, when we act like it's trivial, because and then we say, no, because it's going to bring money and it's going to bring 3/5 of mint condition, and the Temptations iteration 8.0 and bullshit like that. It's problematic for me because we're in a space when we get the educated voice for the no's. It's important to do more than just speak to people's lizard brain. And the lizard brain is all about immediate, it's the stem, immediate comfort, food, sex, clothing, money. We're not even getting into the higher level thinking of what is this actually doing for the elderly woman who lives across the street, just separated by the train tracks from this. Has Richmond been stuck in the mud? Yes. You know why? And I'm going to say this as an outsider, because you get behind the wrong things, because you don't show up for the things that need to be said, because you keep voting for Reva. That's why you're stuck in the mud. And because you can be bought for a penny. The minute they say, look, 1,500 jobs. You know how many people are unemployed in Richmond? That's not enough. Give me more.
Okay.
You know how many people, you know how much money they're guaranteeing a percentage that is so small, because you're absolutely right. It is business. It is business. And I want us to stop acting like it's some magnanimous giving moment. It ain't.
It's not.
It's all about making money.
Right.
I'll give you 2%. You're going to give it back. You're going to give it back. The old lady that went to Rosie's, now she doesn't have to find a way down the street. She can do it right in her backyard and gamble away all her Social Security.
She could go online and do that.
Now, the fact of the matter is, we'll sit around and we'll talk about it, and we'll I just want to say this comment that Mr. Legacy Jones is Alan Charles Shipman. Yes, casinos delay grocery stores because grocery stores are based on households. And per the National Association of Realtors, people don't want to live near a casino. Atlantic City could never get a grocery store. And I'm going to tell you, my best friend from high school, Susan Scott, lived in Atlantic City, Ohio Avenue, and no, they're not there.
But I'm saying they haven't put one there yet. It's been how many years?
But what I'm saying is the same voices that are vocal and excited and are excited because supposedly it's about the community. Where are those voices when we're not feeding children?
Right. Where are they?
So those of you who are saying yes to this, where are you?
I'm always there.
Where are you when this is happening?
There.
Because at the end of the day, you're the same people who will say people are stupid. They don't know how to think for themselves. They're going to make bad decisions. They're not voting. They're doing the wrong things with their money. As a matter of fact, I think at one point you were against giving stipends and things like that because you didn't agree with how you felt people would spend it. They'll go and Jordans and blah, blah.
No, that wasn't the case.
We need to be putting money into other things.
That wasn't the case. Black people. Yeah, I was dealing with people and what people think they can afford and what they have money for.
Okay, so pause right there. Pause right there. So coming from the government and what they're going to do with the money and the extra money and this, that, and the other. So what that goes to is the fact of the matter is Rosie's is no better. I want to be clear on that. A lot of these people that I'm hearing speak out against Casino One also were speaking out against Rosie's. I will not allow it to become this disingenuous point of where we're saying, Rosie's exit. They didn't want Rosie's either.
But it's here.
They didn't want it either. But
I agree.
And my point is they didn't want it either because they knew. They knew it doesn't do anything to feed and sustain the local. Now, sure, can I go? Can you go? Can you go and spend money and not worry about it? Likely. Sure. Can I order groceries and afford to pay for somebody to deliver them and sit in my little, my little loft with the hardwood floors and this, that, and the other and sit back and be like, I don't care if I got. Yes, I can afford to do those things. There are people literally less than a mile away from me on Commerce that are going to be dealing with bigger things. I am now considering moving from there. You know what that does? I bring a tax bracket to that environment that wasn't there. There are other people in the building that I live in that are like, oh, I'm getting out of here. Those people are also in a certain tax bracket. And so you can say, oh, well, the casino's going to bring that money. To his point, they don't have to allocate that money to that area. Every single time we get into something that's about what it's going to do for Southside, you know why it doesn't happen? There's no accountability. There's no agreement. There's no commitment to make it happen. That money can go anywhere they want it to go. And I promise you this, it's not going near Hillside Court. It ain't happening.
I can believe that. And I haven't disagreed with anything that you said thus far. The only thing I'm saying is these two things, though commingled, are mutually exclusive.
Not if they're commingled.
What they have been commingled. what has happened
by
is
the
this.
politicians.
And
Who
unfortunately,
could also bring the grocery brands.
And unfortunately, by the lack of participation in the community, because that's why these politicians are in office. If you people have a problem with these
they're going to
politicians,
participate. They're going to vote. Yes.
okay. So listen,
I'm telling
no,
you right now. I
wait,
know
wait,
that
wait,
what I'm
wait.
saying is irrelevant.
No.
They're
Listen,
going to vote for this.
We don't
I already
know
this.
because we might have a Republican governor real soon. So we don't really know, right? Here's what I'm trying to say.
And I have a bone to pick with that too.
I got a heavy bone to pick with all of that.
I got a bone to pick with that because we never, and I'm calling y'all out. We never talk about local politics. We never do. We never talk about local politics. We never talk about Youngkin. We never do that. But we spoke about the casino. And my concern is we're willing to highlight that. But we have a man that's literally, we're at a razor's edge. We have a man that believes in things that specifically will hurt Black and brown people, and particularly Black women, in the way that he believes about social issues. And we're talking about a casino, but we never told these people.
I spoke about Youngkin 2 weeks ago.
I will speak on that. I'll address that.
And by the way, no disrespect. I know I can do that with Marcus.
Oh yeah,
and so on and so forth.
I don't receive that as disrespect, but I will address it. I don't want to talk about that stuff, and I'm not in the space mentally to talk about that stuff. On this show,
that stuff.
Well, I'm getting to that. On this show, we've got a universe of things to talk about. We can talk about anything, and so we usually do. And the casino, we didn't talk about. This has been something that has been in our consciousness in this town for months. We haven't talked about it. You want to know why we're talking about it now? Because I went to a mixer where I had an opportunity to meet the people who are leading this, and I was inspired by it personally. And I was there with John. And had I not been there Friday night, we probably wouldn't be talking about this either. I'm just going to keep it 100 because local politics is important. It just ain't never been the lane that Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J has traveled. Just hasn't. And had this casino conversation been led by anything other than two Black people, we wouldn't be talking about it. We just wouldn't. And I'm just, again, transparency. I'm keeping it funky. The thing for me where it becomes a conversation piece and it becomes more personal is I live in Southside. Well, for the first 8 or 10 years of my time here in Richmond, I lived in Southside. Now I live in Chesterfield, which is a little further south. But I know this area. I know this area that we're talking about. Like, I know this area. And I'm someone who, while I hear and I respect all of the opposition to a casino, if you had said to me, we want to build a casino in this area and it's going to be led by some Black folks that have receipts, that you've seen them do things, I would have said yes to that. So I would have said yes to that. Also keeping in mind that I represent the average voter. We walk around and talk like, do your research. You got to go through and read all of this and understand all the stuff and everything. Most folks ain't doing that. Like, let's just keep it funky. Most folks ain't doing that.
But that's why we can educate them.
Most folks ain't doing that. Most folks are going to see the issue and make a decision off of the issue or decide not to do nothing. Is what most folks are going to do. For me, I looked at the situation based upon how I saw it. And I saw an area of 100 acres in Philip Morris that's barren right now. And you told me that two Black people who already lead the radio stations that I listen to and the TV station that I watch, and they want to bring a big business to our town, it's good enough for me. It just was. And that's okay. That's okay. Because if it don't pass, then oh well, it don't pass. But if it does pass, in my opinion, You're going to have people who are going to get jobs because they got to build it. And you're going to have people that are going to get jobs because they have to run it. And for me, it's good enough.
So,
also don't make the assumption that simply because you live in Southside, you're going to get hired. Because again, it's business. So if you walk in there and you're not representing the way they want you represent, and I worked in a casino, so I know the kind of people they pick. I know what they pick. I know what they're looking for. I know the kinds of things they're looking for. So walk in there if you want to, fully being who you are. And it won't be representing Southside on the floors
Well,
as
they're
the
gonna have to
slot
get-
host, as
yeah.
the casino host,
Right.
at the Pai Gow poker table. They'll bring people from outside because you know what? The people who are spending money, the people they really want to bring in don't look like the people. That's the other thing. They don't look or live like the people. You walk in Rosie's is overwhelmingly a Black population. That is not who Casino One is wanting in there. And I'm going to tell you right now, don't think that it means that the jobs are going to go to someone that they don't think reflects what they want reflecting them.
Okay.
Don't think it won't.
Listen, absolutely. What you just said is absolutely true. But here's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to move some people in because 60% of the jobs, of the 1,500 jobs, are guaranteed to local people who live in the neighborhood that is being built in. So they either going to move some people in or they're going to make sure that 60% of the job is behind the curtain or backstage. Either way, the jobs, the minimum pay of job offered is $15 an hour.
Can I ask you something? Because he mentioned something that neither, and it could be, I wasn't there, I wasn't present. So I don't necessarily have an influence. My influence about this situation has been all about the education. I've been paying attention and reading because like I said, I live down the street. Can I ask you about a point that he made that I thought was extremely relevant, but we moved past it? He talked about the act that Liggins and Hughes both voted against. For 3 years, they fought tooth and nail to make sure that Black performers and musicians would not be able to get certain royalties and proper payment. They're utilizing their music on radio. HR 848. HR 848. Look it up. Spend your time. You don't have to want to be super educated, but it's important. It's important because part of the reason that so many people are saying they believe in this is because they believe in the word. I was there. Marcus said it. I was there and I was inspired. You know, I'm inspired by Mrs. Hughes' story. Great story. As a salesperson, I think everybody should have a story that they can sell and bring you in and make you want to do business with them. Every brand and every individual has a story that should be sellable or saleable. And in this case, it's saleable. It makes sense. But the people that we're buying into exactly, we're saying they said this, it must be so on the business side. These people literally fought against. It's called the Performance Right Act.
I know about it.
Which is basically a civil rights act for performers.
I know everything about it.
Predominantly impacts Black people because the music that they are playing, she campaigned hard against it. The music that they're going to be playing is primarily from Black artists to a Black audience. And they fought against the opportunity for these people to get properly paid and to make royalties. And that's exactly what it was. And I'm happy to post it so you all can read about it. So again, that word disingenuous. Don't immediately say, it is written, therefore it is so. That's not it. Simply because she said it. What I will say is absolutely a businesswoman. Absolutely.
Okay, so
$166 per share around the time that she was fighting HR 848. There was a push for the shares to go up. We believe that someone that fought against Black artists receiving their due, something that some of them are still struggling with now, and we're saying, oh, absolutely, everything that's said is going to be done. I just want a bit of truth. That is all. You can vote. To your point, vote how you want to vote. Yes or no. But I just want things to be clear. I want transparency.
Okay, so this is my thing. The first thing about it is, in the contract. So they're not going to go rewrite the contract. It's there. Right? Anything that they falter on could cause them to lose the contract and money that they've already put in. So the contract is a contract. And this is a problem that I had in the problem with going back to Navy Hill. Same thing. They had a lot of promises, but nothing was on paper. But at least the people who were making the promise, and I had a problem with that. But at least even then, the people who were making the promises looked like the people who they was promising it to. And to me, understanding what was going to transpire regardless, because it had to be done. The place was falling down and it had to be rebuilt. The question was only who was going to rebuild it. And I'm saying, although, yeah, it is a possibility that we won't get a casino, even though the state and the federal government have elected Richmond to have one. It's possible we won't get one, but the odds are really, really good that we're going to get one. And it might as well be somebody that looks like us. The problem is this. Yes, in business, there's no such thing as honor in business. Anybody who goes to business school will tell you that. All there is in business is profit.
So then remove from your argument for that this was said and that was said and this is what they're going to do. Remove that.
No, I'm talking about what's in the contract. It's not about what they said. I wasn't moved by that. I was moved by this. I forgot how many months ago it was when I got the first layout online sent to my email, 200 pages that I read. And I'm like, they doing this? They're doing this. They're doing this. Again, alone, profit sharing for the employees is enough for me. You understand how hard the gaming industry?
People to recognize that employees don't have to mean people from Southside.
I got that.
Okay.
But it does mean 60% are from the Richmond area and closer to the casino is preferred. That's in the contract. It has to mean that.
Preferred. It is not required.
Oh, listen.
It's on. Hold on.
Right.
It's on 95. Everything's close. Literally, no lie. From my bedroom window, I'm looking at Main Street Station. I'm close to everything in that case.
City limits.
So at the end of the day, anywhere up and down 95, you don't. I am concerned about the people that live right there. Yes, it was an empty lot. Yes, brothers, I understand. It was an empty lot. I agree with you, Marcus. I agree. But I also don't agree that every empty lot just means let's put anything there and keep it moving and keep it pushing and so on and so forth. That same empty, let me tell you what else is not over in Southside. I just think I feel like I need to make this very clear. What else is not over there? If I want to buy a dress, if I want to buy clothing for work, not there.
Not there.
It's not there.
But the casino's coming with a park next to it available to the public and 2 added bus lines that the city's not paying for, that the casino's paying for.
2 added bus lines that get you there. But I'm talking.
And also get you into the middle of the city that are not there.
So it can bus you back and forth. And there's not a contract. You need to be clear.
But you cannot
there is
get
not
out.
a contract. I also don't want you misrepresenting
When
that.
you say it's not a contract, what do you mean?
It is not. There is not a written contract that says this. They put out an executive summary. And I read the executive summary. Not only did I read it for this, I read it before because I was invited to another event that was pro this. I was invited to the event that Mr. Sharpton was speaking at. First of all, I'm going to say this as the granddaughter of a pastor and someone who's very committed to his faith. I find it kind of sad that we also we're like very comfortable that the church and the Christian radio station and everybody else is behind this. But again, I understand it's just business, so we're going to do what we got to do. But it's an executive summary. It's not a contract.
The executive summary has there are 2 things.
It does not make it contractual.
No.
I read it through.
Right, but there are 2
and there
things.
is a separate document, and that's not contractual with all those other elements.
There are 2 documents besides the executive summary, which is the proof of ability, or whatever they call it, proof of product, and what has been agreed upon, what they are going to do if and when the referendum is passed. And that happened. Those documents.
It's not a contract, though. Let's be clear.
No, the only reason it's not a contract because it cannot be signed until the referendum. Listen, it's not
hold on.
No.
Hold on, bro. So
it is
wait a minute.
No.
Let's go back.
Wait.
You just
No.
It is not a contract.
It is a contract.
It's a proposal.
No. It's a contract that cannot be signed until the referendum is passed. They can't sign the contract because if you sign a contract,
so you're making my point.
No, wait. No, I'm
No,
not
I'm
making
not
your
gonna wait
point.
'cause you're-
I'm
because
not
it's-
making your
it's-
point.
it's
You're trying to
again-
do a political spin
I'm
on it,
not. No,
like
I'm
just
not.
like the vote is a
No, I'm
political
not.
spin.
No,
Yes, you
I'm
are.
not. Because at first it's if I hadn't said anything, if I had not said a word, and I let you go, if I had not said a word, if I had not said it's not a contract, you had already told the audience it's a contract.
It is a contract.
And now here
it's
we
not
are.
signed. It's a contract, though.
You're voting. I want to be clear. You are voting on something, and I don't. Again, you know, until honestly, this conversation has pushed me to make a commitment to where I'm voting. But you're voting on something. That's like me saying, "Listen, John, I agree to a proposal to get married. I would like you to make sure that as a part of this contract of marriage, we'll make it materialistic, something you can hate. I would like to have a new Mercedes every 3 years. Yes, that's what I want." And you say, "Okay, after we get married, I'm going to sign on that contract." What holds you to this contract?
If
bruh?
you don't, what holds you to it? If you don't sign it, you void the contract. These documents are there. These listen, no,
it's already voted on.
no.
And the people,
listen, no,
and
what's
the people
already been
who
voted
want
on?
it,
What's already been voted on is this.
No, I'm saying it's coming up. It's going to already be voted on, and then you're going to sign a contract.
Right. And if you don't sign the contract, you nullify what was voted on.
And so I'm supposed to believe that people that took up to $40,000 are going to all of a sudden nullify
It's not for the people. It's not for the people. Their license is being upheld. The money, the $555 million is being held back. The license is being held back. Everything needed to move forward is being held back, and it will not be administered without adhering to what was put on paper.
I just
don't try to act like these people are going to back out of it.
I didn't say they're going to back out of it. I'm saying there's not a signed contract. And if
the contract's not signed because you can't until you vote.
You have to vote on it before the contract
That's like
is
saying
signed.
we're going to build a house on this land that you didn't buy yet. So we got to vote on if you're going to buy the land.
The problem. So you give
But we are going to build the house because it's on paper that we're going to build a house. And if we don't build a house we said we're going to build, then you have nullified the original agreement and you lose all of your money. There's money already on the table. And if they don't do exactly, if Urban One does not do exactly, hold on, 1, 2, Marcus, we're losing this.
I don't know. I just
it's going, but no value.
Again, I think that it's
if Urban, hello, I don't know what it is. Yellow, hello, I don't know. They're all out.
All right.
If Urban One doesn't do what it said it's going to do, then it will lose the money that is already put forward. It has to perform. There's a performance agreement. It has to do what it says it's going to do. If it doesn't do that, then they lose everything. And they have a specific time that they have to deliver it in. And they have a 1-year addition on the time. From the time they get the money to the time of completion, they have a 1-year window in which to get it done. If they don't, they lose everything. The building, the land, the city, anything they put on the property reverts to ownership of the city. And this is in writing.
I'm going to tell you that a city full of people, it's amazing to me how much all of a sudden we trust politicians. I just love this. We're in a totally different space.
You said the politicians now are not going to be the politicians then. So who's there to trust?
The city council has, look how long Reva's been on city council. Look, I mean, these people have been there forever. Stoney's not going to be there because there are term limits.
Right.
Let's, again.
Okay.
Come on now.
But here's what I'm saying. What's on paper, if they don't produce the building in the way that they said they were going to do it.
They weren't going to do that.
Wait, let me finish. If they don't produce the building in the way they said they were going to produce it, if they don't produce the business in the way they said they were going to do it, if they don't generate the revenue they said they were going to generate, if they don't follow to the letter,
casinos generate revenue by nature of what they are. That's irrelevant.
But this is in writing. What happens to them? They have a specific timetable. If they don't meet these minimum standards that were put in this agreement, the building, the land, and everything on it reverts ownership back to the city. So it doesn't incentivize anyone but the city for them to fail. right? So if they succeed, that's good for them. The bottom line to this thing is everything that you said bad about a casino, I'm not arguing against that. Everything that needs to be done in the South Side, I've been arguing for that from day one. From day one, people need to deal with their lives. Vote locally. I say that at the end of almost every show. Get out and vote locally. Make sure you know who these people are and if they're representing what you need, right? That needs to happen. But what I'm saying is whether or not this casino comes or doesn't come, I don't believe will affect the lives of these people in the way that you say, because stopping this casino from coming is not going to make the same woman that's been in there change the way she is. She's just going to keep going and flowing. And somebody else is going to come along and build a casino there and not put anything in there towards hiring contracting black people to participate, or hiring black people, or hiring local people, and they're going to take the city taxes to do it. They're going to take the city taxes to do it. Nobody else is proposing a completely privately funded location. Everybody else wants tax revenues from the city and from the state in order to do this thing. And that is so important, because these same people you're talking about, their tax dollars that was supposed to go to fix their streets and have more police and do all this stuff is going to go to the other man to build a casino in their area.
I'm gonna leave it right here. Ultimately, I just feel a level of wow, and how easily we're bought and sold. And I'm gonna be all right, because I'm one of those people that can pick up and go. And so I don't have to get stuck with the masses. I don't have to. I don't have to care. My kids were never educated there. My kids went to Clover Hill High School. I lived in Chesterfield. I can literally shut down and say, hey, I mean, oh well. We have a city that literally is still debating on whether or not to give kids that go to a specific high school the right building. No one's really going crazy about that.
They should.
Well, they're not. And then the voices that speak the loudest are pro casino, and oh well, those things haven't happened. That has nothing to do with this. And it's almost terrifying to think that we can see when it's up at these congressional levels and senatorial levels and presidential levels, we can see when people are hoodwinking us, or when they are not giving us everything that we deserve. We can dismiss it when it gets down to the level that is directly going to impact us. I'm not even going to debate the point anymore. I'm just going to say, I hope you get what you need.
I want you to run against Lady at City Council. That's what I want you to do. I want you to put your name on the ballot.
Clearly, they like what they're getting. They want a white woman.
Clearly, they don't.
Who puts Aunt Jemima jars in her kitchen and probably uses the N-word in private conversation, and clearly doesn't care. Clearly, that's what they want, because that's what they keep getting.
No.
So I'm not going to put myself on the line for Richmond.
If
this is what Richmond wants to do, and
present
you want
them with an alternative,
people do that.
Present them with an alternative.
Let somebody who lived there their whole lives, who clearly doesn't care, let them be the alternative.
That's been the problem. People been living
exactly
there. People been living there their whole lives. Don't understand change. They need someone who has something else that they've seen.
So we should be pushing for the right kind of change if we've seen something different.
So push. It's your neighborhood. Run against that woman. Push against her. You have a vision that people who've lived there their whole life don't have. Show them
and don't care about. They want the casino, and she's giving that.
Listen,
they're not gonna vote for me, because I'm gonna tell them the truth about how it impacts them and what they should be asking for. You
can't get on this year's ballot. The next ballot that comes up for that council, get on it. Yeah. Show the people. I had somebody running for city council, and I walked District 2 block for block. The whole district. It goes from this block to the fan.
And Ellen,
right? And
Ellen, you're welcome to call in too. You knocked on my apartment door. We had a 20-minute conversation with you trying to convince me to vote for you. I didn't vote for you then. I wouldn't vote for you again if you ran. And I am not shocked. I'll just say that. I am not shocked. Ellen, if you care about the district, work on that grocery brand, work on children getting what they need, work on the right amount of money going into those schools, give them what Chesterfield's experiencing. Because I promise you this, Chesterfield, Short Pump, Stony Point, they definitely wouldn't live next to a casino.
So,
and you don't even have to ask me for a rant tonight. I'm going to tell you right now, that's it.
So here's my thing. You absolutely right. They won't. And that's why they vote and get the people they in. Like I said, I walked every block of District 2, every single block on foot, 2 days in a row, right? To try to make a change. And my biggest change would have been, who the hell drew the districts? Because if you ever looked at a map of the city of Richmond, and how they drew the districts, it was like a blind dyslexic, right? It had to be for no other reason but being able to have enough white people far enough away from black people so that the black part of the district would suffer, right? Because every single district is laid that way. We got to care about it. This is why we got to vote, right? Here's the problem. We're talking about trying to help people in a district with less than 50% voter turnout. Less than 50% voter turnout. And at the same time, we're talking about not hurting, forget about not helping. Because you can't help somebody who don't want to get helped, right? So we're saying, let's not hurt them more, right? This is the point. We're going to hurt them more if we bring the casino in. But at the same time, you have business owners who are working, who are striving, who are struggling, who are making a way in a city, right? That people said there was no way for it to be made 5 years ago. The amount of new black-owned businesses in this city is amazing, and they're making it. I came to this city 4 years ago. I said, why the hell don't we have a sports team? Well, it ain't going to happen in Richmond. Richmond ain't going to do this. I'm guaranteeing you within the next 10 years, we'll have a sports team. Because the whole idea of old money is dying. This is about old money.
Yeah.
Right? This is about people who have their endowments, their estates, and their money, and they want to keep it valued at a certain amount. They want no new money in Richmond because new money devalues their old money. So they see all of these young, educated, hungry black folks pushing businesses that wasn't supposed to succeed, and they're succeeding enormously in this city. And now we have an opportunity to make those local businesses appear on a national stage and bring in consumers from all over the country, right? And not just over the country, but again, I said it before, from Fredericksburg to Petersburg. That's the true reach of Richmond. And we're going to get all those people in here to, see two-thirds of the group you said, and Temptations 9.0. Yes, and the voices of New Edition. Yeah, they're going to come. But also who's going to come? SZA's going to come. And Her is going to come. And the other people are going to come, right? So we're going to get all of Richmond in that one time to dress up and show out. But the problem with money in the black community is it never stays in the black community. Every dollar gets spent, it runs out right away. At least have something in the community being spent in the community.
I will take the last word on this. We need to move on and end the show. But I will say this. I've been in this town in August of next year to be 30 years here in this town. I remember when Sue and I would go to see the Richmond Rage. It was a women's basketball team that predated the Women's National Basketball Association. We go see the Richmond Rage here in town, and we would marvel at how we had a professional sports team, but it was a team that lasted one season in this town, the year or two before the WNBA was created, mid-90s. And we were frustrated because we was like, damn, we enjoyed it. So when I would go to the games, but then they left because nobody would support it. And then you had the Richmond Braves that left here and went down to Georgia, which is probably a better fit for them. But the point being, we would always make the comment that there wouldn't be any national sports teams. And Sue is listening, and she said, yup, empty seats. She remembers, yup, empty seats. So she is commenting off of what I'm saying here. Let me get to my point. My point is, I've been here 30 years, And for 30 years, Richmond has had an opportunity to do something, and you've had people say, nah, we can't do it because of this. Nah, we can't do it because of that. Nah, we can't do it. This is going to mess up this neighborhood and that neighborhood, and black folk ain't going to be able to do this, and because of this and because of that, blah, 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 blah. Richmond ain't never going to make the come up if we continue that attitude. That attitude is here. That attitude is here. I've been here 30 years. That attitude is here. Now, maybe it's dying. I hope it's dying. You've been here 4. You're going to have to defer to me on this one. I've been here 30 years. And for 30 years, I've been hearing people in Richmond say, we ain't nothing to do. We ain't got nothing to do. We ain't got nothing to do. Well, let's do this. Nah, we can't do that. If we do that, then this is going to happen. Well, what do you want? What do you want? Do you want to do something or do you not? I already said, and I listened to y'all debate, and I stayed quiet because y'all smarter than me on this. With all due respect to myself, I'm smart as hell on most shit. I know a little about a lot of stuff. And again, like I said earlier, I stayed in the Holiday Inn a few times, so I know some stuff. This one, the technical stuff with the money and all of that, y'all smarter than me on that. Y'all can have it. What I know is what is based in common sense. And what common sense has told me over the 30 years that I've been in this town don't want it. This town don't want it. You on 95, yo. Every single person that comes from south of Richmond that wants to go to New York got to come through Richmond. New York, where we all got ties to. You want to get there, you got to come through here if you south of here. We don't want no casino. All right. It's coming anyway. So who owns it is the question. What you gonna do, Richmond? Because you shown you ain't done nothing before when it comes to big scale things that would take you from being mid-level to big dog. And that's with someone who been here for 30 years, who ain't from here, who loves it here, who's gonna die here, has to say about that. Ain't no Hastel Marcus J live from New Den. Legacy Internet Radio. We taking it home, y'all. We taking it home. It's the end of the show. We're gonna get through some housekeeping, and then we're gonna do our rants. We're gonna do our closings, and then we're gonna make mean faces at each other before we leave the building. At this time of the show, we always make sure to profile missing and/or exploited children. This week is no different. We are looking for Zael Swan. It's the second time we've looked for Zael Swan. That just means that she's still missing, and that's not a good look. So we're going to continue looking for our young sister, Zael Swan. She's missing from Chesterfield, south of us here in Richmond. She's 13. She's a black female. She's 5 foot. She's 118 pounds, last seen on September 24th, 2021. She was headed northbound on Philbrook Road in Chesterfield. If you've seen Zael Swan, please contact the National Center for Missing and/or Exploited Children on their website, missingkids.org. Contact them. Chesterfield County Police Department, 804-748-1251. We are also looking for Drayshawn Williams. He's missing since October 16th from Henrico, part of us here in the capital city in Richmond. He's a 14-year-old black male. He's 5'6". He weighs 135 pounds. He was last seen on October 16th. He goes by the nickname Dre. He requires medication. He may be in need of medical attention. If you've seen Drayshawn Williams, please contact the National Center for Missing and/or Exploited Children on their website, missingkids.org, or contact the Henrico County Police Department at 804-501-5000. If you've seen Drayshawn Williams, if you've seen Zael Swan, either of them, please contact the National Center for Missing and/or Exploited Children on their website, missingkids.org, or contact them at 1-800-THE-LOST, 1-800-843-5678. Most of the comments that we've gotten tonight, we've added to our live feed. So the viewers and listeners, you've been able to participate and see what your peers in listening have been saying. Some of the comments we've been able to get in, they've just been coming in tonight so fast and furious. that we just haven't been able to read them all. That's actually a good thing. And so we appreciate y'all. Continue your comments. We want you to call. We appreciate Brother Shipman for calling tonight, and everybody who had a notion to call. We had a caller who couldn't get in because the line was tied up, and that's a good thing. And so we appreciate that. We are celebrating 10 years, 10 years of Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. Next month, December, we'll make 10 years that we're doing this. And the only reason why we do this every single Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is because y'all listen. If y'all wasn't listening, then we would be doing something else. The Giants and the Knicks are both playing right now. I could be at the crib doing this on the split screen, but I'm here with y'all because I'd rather be here with y'all. But I do got it on my computer right here, as you just should know about that life. Even though I got on this Vote shirt, I still got that on. Yeah, go Knicks. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, I had to do that weird thing, and I made it weird. I always make it weird. That's just what I do. Us nerds stand up. Ain't no half step with Marcus J live from New Day Legacy and that radio. I do got a comment. I do have for those English people that get all funky. I do got a comment for the end of the show. This brother, I love him because he goes back with me to what I used to call the radio station we used to be on. Shout out to my man Tim Casey and Global Scale Radio. Special shout out to my brother Ty Cool. He's saying, "What's good, my brother? I've listened to folks. These things have worked within the last 30 years. Fridays at Sunset, like Jazz at Maymont, etc. I'm for the casino. It's another good something that will work." Our brother Mr. Shipman's making his final comment is saying, "God bless y'all for raising up our missing children. But let's also talk about the casino's increase and contribute to human trafficking, especially when paired with a hotel." Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Validating your comment, brother. It is very, very well taken. Ain't no half step, Marcus J. Live from New Day Legacy and the radio. Final piece of tonight's show. We always make sure, along with our missing children, we always make sure we get our moment in Black history. Couple of things. On this day in 1831, Choctaw people began the Trail of Tears, a forced march from Mississippi to Oklahoma during which nearly a third of the Choctaw Nation perishes. Also on this day, but in 1879, school assimilate Native American children opens in Pennsylvania. 2004 this week, Alabama voters reject constitutional amendment that will remove from the state constitution a provision requiring separate schools for white and colored children. Colored children. Colored children. 2000, Alabama repeals 1901 state constitutional ban on interracial marriage, although a majority of white voters favor keeping the ban. In 2000, they wanted to keep that ban. Yeah. This is why I do this, by the way, because we need to know who we live with. 20 years ago, I was a grown-ass man. 20 years ago. 20 years ago is 2000. I'm a grown-ass man, probably walking past people who don't want Black people and white people to marry each other. Just keep that in mind when you think about why this show, we always make sure that we highlight certain things. We talk about race. We didn't talk about it a lot tonight, but when I go through the moments in Black history, I always like to point out how our position in this country has always been, as they like to say, compromised. We're 3/5 of a human, even though that's just the words in the Constitution. But how we're treated oftentimes just by virtue of what these history moments say, because I started off at 1831 with some bullshit, but then I just read you something from 20 years ago where they don't even want you to marry each other. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. And I ain't got no heat with nobody that ain't got no heat with me, but I promise you, I will burn your ass if you come for me. Ain't no half step Marcus J live from New Den Legacy and that radio. Last thing that I'm gonna get to: 1889, a young Black man is lynched right here in Leesburg, Virginia, for frightening a white girl by wearing a sack on his head. There's that. Ain't no half step Marcus J live from New Den Legacy and that radio. Let's go around the room and close us out. Steph, you said you didn't have a rant, but you still will have a word and say whatever it is you choose to say. you do something outside of this show. So I would hope that you talk about whatever that is. I know what it is. Tell them what that is when it's your time. John, you got the con, your rant, your closing. I'm gonna step off this soapbox before I jump back on it in a few minutes.
My rant tonight goes into what my rant has meant for years and years. We don't vote unless we get told to vote, right? Last presidential election, during the primary, Joe Biden was doing bad. He was doing bad, right? We didn't know who we were going to get, but it wasn't looking like Joe Biden. What's my guy's name? Jim Clyburn in South Carolina. He whipped that vote like no other. And with Biden winning South Carolina, that made him the presumptive nominee. He didn't do or say or perform in any way, shape, or form to honor that nomination. There was nothing he did that said he should have won. But Jim Clyburn whipped the vote, right? I say that for people to understand what we're going through right now. Nothing that was promised to the African American community that put him in office. Nobody will question that. We put him in office. Without us, it would have been Trump again, right? None of what was promised to us was delivered any way, shape, or form, nor has it been made a priority in any way, shape, or form. It's been pushed to the back burner. So much so that it looks like Joe will not get a second term, and it'll never happen. I don't want that to discourage you from voting. I want that to encourage you to vote more, because Jim Clyburn shouldn't have been able to whip your vote for Joe Biden. Because if you understood the history of how far they go back, right? Going back into the 70s where Joe was saying some real outlandish things. And his main idea was working across the aisle. He wanted to be the Republicans' Democrat ever since he got to office, right? And this is why we're suffering for it. Bring that right here to Richmond. I voted already. I voted yes for the casino. If you don't want it, I want you to vote no. I cannot explain to you how much I want you to vote no, because that is the only way we can get an understanding of what it is the community wants. Now, I said it's not going to be, I don't believe it's going to stop the casino from coming. I think the casino is going to come. I think the vote has been presented in a way that was deceptive, right? To encourage and discourage Black people's participation. However, it might benefit either one of the sides. But it wasn't shaped in a way to make people understand it the way they needed to understand it, right? Everything that Steph has said tonight in the gentleman call, I've not disagreed with anything except for the vote against the casino, because I agree with all that stuff. What I'm saying is, I don't believe the casino is going to have, I don't believe that not having Urban One build this casino is going to affect positively the change that needs to happen in the community, right? In order for that change to happen, y'all in the community need to vote. You need to vote for people who have your interests. These are the people who are making these decisions. How long has the lady been in there? How many years? I don't know. A long time. Much too long, right? And she wants the casino. That almost makes me not want it, right? Just because she wants it. But my point is this: you got to get her out. And in order to get her out, you got to go vote. You got to take 5-10 minutes. I went to vote early, but there was no line. There was 7 people lined up. Hey, come my way, come my way. It was like It was like I was on Orchard Street, Delancey for some of y'all, and they was trying to get me a coat. They wanted me to come vote. Nah, that's how bad it was. And y'all are not coming out to vote. Did you early vote? No, you didn't vote. Is there a line? Has there been a line?
No, the last few times I just walked
Okay. You see, it needs to be a line. Needs to be a line. Y'all need to get it because this stuff, like Steph said, the people in this room, it don't affect us quite like how I do y'all. Some of y'all. The ones that don't vote are the ones that's getting kicked. And we trying to see that you don't get hurt more, or in some situations help you, but you gotta get. I can't vote in what's that, District 9? I gotta vote District 2. I live in 2. Casino ain't in 2. If it was coming to 2, I'd be voting hell yes. Because we got 4 or 5 blocks down the middle of the main street in here that looks like the Bronx in 1974. And the buildings are owned by one person and he will not sell. And the city allows it. And the city allows him to let it be maintained in a way that is deplorable and not force him to pay to at least make it look presentable. That destroys the look of the city down the main street. So there are things going on in this city everywhere that's horrible and deplorable, and people will not go out and vote. Go out and vote, folks. Go out and vote. It's not illegal yet, and it doesn't matter how much money you have. And your local voting place is not that far away. You will walk to whatever store that's selling whatever it is that you want to buy with money you don't have. Please go vote. That's the end of my.
Hey, you know, I have Steph Marcus J live from New Den. Legacy in that radio. Steph, you got the last word before I close us out. Tell us about the Hive, please.
First of all, thank you for the spirited discourse tonight.
Yeah, man, you dope.
I appreciate you both.
I think we finally found our space that we disagree stuff. We've been looking
like
for it for a long time. Yeah, every once in a while we disagree, but you know, usually we're in harmony. But tonight, we just aren't, and so I appreciate that.
But the good thing is, it's a safe space for everybody.
It's always going to be that for you. And for me and for John, because we love each other. At the end of the day, we just love each other. I didn't mean to steal any of your time, I'll pull myself back. But I just need the viewers to always know that and hear that from me. You guys can say it, but from me, they need to hear that I love y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love y'all for real. As a man,
where else could we do
as
this?
A man, I love this man. And as a woman, I love this woman because we do something special. And I've been doing this for 10 years and I ain't never had this. So I said my piece. I'm sorry to have taken some of your time to say that, but it's yours.
I appreciate it.
You got it.
Yeah, I'm not going to rant tonight. I feel like you heard me rant enough. I do co-sign on what John is saying. And, you know, voting is never going to become irrelevant. And what I will say about the place that I've chosen to live, when I am walking my dog at night, and in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I can make a left. I mean, I can make a right and walk this way, but I shouldn't make a left and walk that way, because I'm thinking about my safety and things like that. I'm also considering the fact that people are unable to leave that environment. And so I'm passionate about the fact that since some people cannot leave, not being able to go shouldn't mean you don't deserve a better experience. So 1,000%, if you live on Commerce, on a certain part of Commerce, the fire station is your voting location. It's wide open, 6 a.m. Come out, vote. I'm going to be there about 6:30 voting. I could have voted early, but I really wanted the opportunity to see, and I did this when we voted for the president too. I wanted to see what the polls would look like. You walk right up to it. It's the same firemen that come to your building when you need help over there off of Commerce. So if you're in that district, if you're in that area, please get out and vote. This belongs to you. You who are raising children there, you who have grandparents who had properties there, you who will not leave because you're native to it and you love it and you should, it's yours. It's important. And I hope that at some point in time, those of you who have commented tonight and live here locally, you don't have to be Marcus J. You don't have to be John. You don't have to be Alan Chipman. You don't have to be Clovia Lawrence to encourage people to get out and do what's in their best interest. And there's never been a time when casting a vote wasn't in the best interest of Black and brown people. Never. As a matter of fact, they know how important it is. That's why there was a time when you couldn't do it. So I'll leave that there. Other than that, if you all would do me the favor of tuning in every Friday, I spend 30 minutes. As I still the tagline, you give me 30 minutes, I'll give you the world. And we talk about the collision of culture and business, and it's called Hustlers Hive Radio. It's on 105.3 FM. So 105.3 FM Choice. Shout out to Tigerfoot. He it has a radio station at Faith, Love, and Fellowship, and gives individuals like me an opportunity to bring our voices to the air. And while I'm always respectful of the space that I'm in, he's not asking me to do a religious show. I come in and I'm talking business. As a matter of fact, we discussed Biggie and Suge Knight a couple weeks ago and talked about what type of salesmen they are and why you would choose to do business with one or the other. So we make it fun. We talk about business. And I do this because I am passionately driven as someone who runs a business, as a coach, a consultant, and a sales firm. I am passionately driven to see Black entrepreneurs make more money. The average Black entrepreneur, 80%, make less than $120,000 a year. So my mission is that if you're getting out there to hustle, I want your hustle to be happy, number one. Number two, I want you to be well informed when you're working as an entrepreneur. A lot of us don't understand sales, business development, how things work, and how you can implement some of those big business behaviors into your small business. Some of us don't understand the concept of not pissing customers off. Very simple things. And so I use my experience as an entrepreneur and the education that I have in the business world and from college to really push us to think deeper. I think that, happy hustlers mean people who are running businesses and they are financially, emotionally, and mentally wealthy while working within those businesses so they can be sustainable. So we don't need to be saved by multi-billionaires who really don't care about us. Save yourself. If you're running a business, do it the right way. If you don't know how, you can reach me at stephaniebryant.com. I'm going to plug myself because I want to see more of you do better. stephaniebryant.com. And I'll work with you as an entrepreneur coach and consultant. But if you want to have a little fun, come where business and culture collide. That's Hustlers Hive Radio, 105.3 FM every Friday at 2:30. We get in it. Thank you, Mark.
My sister. Yeah. I've been wanting you to do that. You got to do that every week.
He has been getting on me to do it
every
week,
single
so
week.
It.
And I'm going to give you a little piece of love by virtue of our sister Sue. Sue says she's listened to the Hive. Yeah. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J. Live from New Den, Legacy Internet Radio. I guess it's my turn.
Do it.
It's my turn. Damn it. Yeah, knocking down beer bottles. Good thing for me. We done a 3-hour show, so it's just about gone. Yeah. Hashtag Marcus J is live from New Den of Legacy Internet Radio. It's time for me to close us out with my own rant and my own closing. And if you know me, if you've been around me lately, you know that I am in the spirit of learning grace and patience and most importantly, right now, I'm in the space of peace and love, learning to let go of what I cannot control and returning the same energy that I receive. Now that last part is hard because I tend to pour more than I ever receive, but that's a whole nother rant. And although I've embraced what I've always felt, what has recently been defined as attributed to me is empathic tendencies, I'm still a Gemini, and I would like nothing more than to punch the motherfucker who hacked my VUU Panther 96 Instagram page right in the external occipital protuberance. First, with my right closed fist, then with the left. For those folks who don't know, who've never heard Gorilla Monsoon of WWF, the external occipital protuberance, if you grab the back of your head, it's the little knot on the back of your head. It's called the external occipital protuberance. Yeah, I'm going to knock you in the back of the head for hacking my page. 12 years, 1,000 followers, 4,000 posts, gone. Poof. I told myself it's just a computer program. Don't get mad, yo. To quote my man Kate up, don't get mad, yo. Don't get mad. Because most of the data is recoverable. Most of it's just pictures and stuff. Most of that, I and in the spirit of just letting shit go, I'm good. I'm good. But I'm understandably pissed, y'all. Come on, man. I'm mad. But what ain't for me, I'm just gonna let it go. So it's gone. I've had the blessing of another page for a while, and I've converted it into my new personal page. So I'm good. So if you would like to be a part of, if you got a notion to keep up with my exploits of live podcasting, which we're doing now, and my new embrace of yoga, which I promise you, that's just who I'm going to be until they, fry me up and stick me in an urn somewhere, because that's just what I'm doing for the rest of my life. I love yoga now. My river hikes, you want to see me with my feet up and looking at the water flow. I love to travel. So when I go someplace, I'm going to share that with you, my search for peace, or the greatest joy of my life, being a daddy to Mama J. If you want to follow all of that, and you was following my VUU Panther 96 Instagram page that is now gone because some punk ass hacker done stole it, then you can go and you can search Legacy Internet Radio, all one word, on Instagram. That's where you can find me now. And I'm going to approve everyone except creepers and stupid people. So you can holler at me. And to the stupid creeper who jacked my page, thank you for helping me, because you have helped to teach me to let go of shit I can't control. I can't control what y'all done, and that has always been hard for me. That has helped. This has helped. So it has been duly noted. Peace and love to you. That is the Marcus's unrelated rant. Ain't got nothing to do with me here talking about tonight. Is the end of the show. I want to remind everybody that independence is the key to building your legacy. I also want to say peace to all of the stars and all of the squares in the abundance of water. The fool is thirsty. Those are the words of Bob Marley, who you hear singing in the background. Ain't no half step on Marcus J. We'll be back live right here next week. Hold up. Authenticity has no competition. All right. Got that part. Back here, y'all.
Love you,
next week.
media.
I'll holler back at you next week, y'all. Peace. Man, that's fake.
Oh, yeah. I'm with it. I'm just gonna lay back and I'm gonna drop some smooth lyrics. So tune in 7 to 9:30 and don't be late. About to set it straight. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Word. I'm ready. Let's go. Ain't no half stepping. That's the name of the show. Yeah. Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah. Hunter talk sprinkle with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you want to talk about? Call it. We're hearing you. Cover all topics. Touch on the main issues. With the flow in this show, bring the heat. Yeah. The word on the street with the Earl on the beat. We superb in the beat, legacy online. 7 to 9:30. Please be on time. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J, my brother. Yeah. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, we full force. And listen up, this Market Stage start to talk, running back. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, we full force. And listen up, this Market Stage start to talk. Steppin is the name of the show. Yeah, Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah, Hunters talk sprinkled with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you want to talk about, call it, we're hearing you. Cover all topics, touch on the main issues. With the flow in this show, bring the heat. The word on the street, Wizard Earl on the beat. We superb in the D, legacy online. 7 and 9:30, please be on time. Ain't no half stepper with Marcus J, my brother. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. My brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, we full force. And listen up, this Market Stage start to talk.